Yes, welcome to another Red Leaf Retrocast episode. It's episode 47, titled Year-End Climax, Please. It is the last episode of 2019. Getting us out as fast as I possibly can, because then after this, it's the Wrestler of the Year cast, which is one of my favorite casts of the year. An entire culmination, all the work with the points, certain awards I want to give out, and the like. We got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 promotions to go through today. A lot of, well, besides the weekly ones, but a lot of them are coming to an end. Getting the last couple episodes out here before that Game of the Year cast. I'm very excited for that. I'm your host, JD. This is the Red Leaf Retrocast. Right before... I'll get into what I plan to do. Right before the WCW, I will reveal what the format and goal of the cast of 2019 will be. So let's just get this started. We got Progress Wrestling, as my cat jumps on the mic table right to start off the cast. Hello, kitty cat. Come on, chill. Chill City, come on. All right. I got a nice alcoholic beverage as I do talking about this. We got Progress Wrestling, chapter 98-99, chapter 98, titled Devil's Advocate. There's more to it, but anyways. Not a blowaway show. This has been definitely a running theme with Progress Wrestling in 2019. You get the occasionally good chapter every, I want to say 5-6 shows, but 2019 kind of started a little bit hot. They had a clear direction with the tag titles, had a good feud going there. Had Walter, the unbeatable champion, trying to get the title off him, culminates in, well, Eddie Dennis winning the title. There just hasn't been a lot of direction. You get the occasional just great match. The Trent Seven build was done quite well, and then he just kind of disappears after more or less getting screwed. That led into the Paul Robinson thing anyways. Progress in 2019 has been more or less disappointing for the excitement level. 98 was kind of the epitome of a lot of that. We got the small disbanding feud of South Pacific Power Trip. Finally, Travis Banks takes on TK Cooper in a hardcore match. Had some decent spots. Not much there. Banks wins. Don't agree with this. This has been a theme in Progress where they have a lot of the NXT UK guys. They come in and they beat the guys that should be staying and more of a focus on the promotion. I get a lot of this with Joshi Wrestling, with the people that rarely show up going over. I would much rather see... I don't expect Travis Banks to be here every chapter, even every 3 to 4 chapters. So, the next match I was much more interested in. 2 guys I expect to see a lot more of, and that's David Starr taking on Do Not Resuscitate's Danny Duggan. Now, the match was fine. I'm very much into Danny Duggan. He sold me during the Natural Progression series. He even cut a promo of all of his accolades since coming to Progress Wrestling, and then David Starr just kind of goes, I won Super Strong Style 16. He goes, all right, fair play, but I am Danny Duggan. You've looked past me, and they have a very decent affair. I was entertained. David Starr does go over in the end. I'm really not sure why you wouldn't just play DNR, Do Not Resuscitate, big stable angle into this more. Maybe this wasn't the right booking match to do, considering David Starr, in the next chapter, has the big title match. So why would you place him in a match where he either has to lose and look stupid for his title match, or you make Do Not Resuscitate continue to look like bumbling fools? So, moving on, we got the Proteus title match, which is the only reason why I'm still watching Progress, to be honest. Paul Robinson is the draw with his "you have to knock me out" or submission to to win this thing. That's the shtick behind the Proteus title. Whoever owns it owns the stipulations of their choosing. Well, this time he's facing Timothy Thatcher, and this match did not disappoint. I quite very much enjoyed this. Paul Robinson does win via the double foot stomp, and more or less knocks Thatcher out, if I remember correctly. The point is, it is a hard-hitting match. It didn't disappoint. Go check this one out. It's the takeaway match. And the main event was the Progress Tag Team titles, which just kind of, here's a tag match, and the titles are on the line. Devlin and Scotty Davis put on a good showing. Birch and Lorcan coming in from NXT. And you can more or less see this is... You know what? Progress has turned into Evolve. Where, yes, the wrestling is solid, but it lacks excitement. It lacks the storied programs that we've come to be used to and expect, to be honest. I expect to be invested, and right now it's just, oh, Progress is on. I guess I'll watch a few matches situation. Don't get me wrong, this match was quite good. They tried the old, I believe it was in New Japan, where it's a Doomsday device, but it's a springboard off the top, but then the guy reverses it into a Spanish fly. They attempted this again from the Grizzled Young Veterans match, if my memory serves. It's been a week since I watched this one. But Birch and Lorcan get defeated. 2 quick isolation moves. Devlin gets the win. I think I would have given Scotty Davis the pinfall win. I would like to see more of the young guys that are going to be there go over and get the pinfalls. So no Angle at the end of the show. No Eddie Dennis. Mark Andrews had a singles match that started off the show, which he's done the past few times, because Dennis just can't wrestle right now. And that will take us into chapter 99, which was a much better show. This had reasoning. So we had another Proteus title match. The returning from Noah Chris Ridgway against Paul Robinson. This one was even better, and it all came down to the finish. The match ended in 10 minutes. To Paul Robinson giving Ridgway a double foot stomp outside the ring on a chair, and this was interesting. It felt like a UFC ref call in which he thought Ridgway was knocked out for a second, and that was all it took. And then Ridgway immediately kind of came to, and he just kind of gives the referee a thumbs up. He's like, yeah, cool. I lost. I got beat. And the commentators did a good job saying, the ref had to make a call. It was right then and there, and he was protecting the wrestler. So I really love what they've done with the Proteus title. I love how strong they've kept Paul Robinson coming off his title opportunity against Walter, which the build kind of irritated me. But this is the big thing in Progress going into 2020. Unboxing is going to take place soon, and just like last year, it'll come out on video on demand in 2020, so it'll be a new show there. Okay, so for the last few chapters, 96 and 97, Dragunov and Cara Noir have had singles matches. First match, I was like, why would you have Dragunov go over? Then they had a rematch because it was so good, and Noir goes over. So now here's the rubber match. Well, what they've done is done a 2 out of 3 falls match. And the story in both those singles matches prior is Dragunov slowly getting roped into Cara Noir's performance, his art, if you will. He's becoming more of his opponent's character, right? So Dragunov comes to the ring in black and white face paint, very much like a Cara Noir-esque, and they stare each other down. He's just staring him down during the entire epic entrance that Cara Noir has. They do a little grappling. Dragunov takes his hand, puts it up against his forehead. He goes to a knee and taps out 3. Interesting, to say the least. That was within 3 minutes. Commentators don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it. We just see Dragunov's kind of performance reaction, if you will. Very unique character reaction. And then Car Noir wants to go over the big time Unbesiegbar, and he trots around the ring. He's confused. He's frustrated. He starts spitting at the mouth. "You're ruining my art." As the viewer looks on, Dragunov, as Noir's pacing around the ring in a fury, in a tizzy, Dragunov gets a smile on his face, and he takes a quick advantage, a barrage, and pins Noir immediately. He bezieked Car Noir. 3.5 minutes. Oh, it was all a plan to get into the artist's head, beat him at his own game. Then the next 16 minutes was what we've come to expect. It was a character battle. It involved hard hitting. It involved heavy lariats from Dragunov. Big, well, foot, not boots, because he doesn't wear boots. Giant kicks from Noir. They go back and forth. They're doing moves where they're essentially doing, like I like saying, a stage play in front of us, but with wrestling. From holding each other's hands and taking a bow. Near the finish was just fantastic after Noir has taken Dragunov in some blackout sleeper maneuvers, and they run the ropes, meet in the middle of the ring, a big giant hug, and Dragunov slowly, after the beating, he's going down to his knees. Car Noir hits him with one final maneuver and gets the pin. Oh, this is why I don't believe in doing match of the year candidates or your top 10 matches or without your, breakout stars until the very end of the year, because here you go. The last week of 2019, I've gotten one of the best independent matches of the entire year right here in this 2 out of 3 falls match. It's even better because I just love I love a good trilogy. I love a good feud. I love a good rivalry where each match prior plays into the finale. And if this wasn't a performance of a match, I don't know what is. It's one of the most unique stories of not just the year, but the last 5 years that I've seen. Car Noir's character and Dragunov getting sucked in. What a match. Highly recommend it. And then from there, the show kind of went downhill. We were met with Ginny, whom has adapted the Ginny Havoc character back. So she's back in Progress temporarily. And as it turns out, Meiko Satomura is just a simple transitional champion. They go 12.5 minutes. The match was solid. Not much to complain about. It's nice seeing Ginny back in the ring. She is British wrestling at its core. I didn't like the finish, though. I'm not too wild about it. That is, I can already tell you this is why Ginny will not be higher on the rankings come to the end of the cast. So Meiko Satomura was unable to hit her vaulting kick, where she jumps off the knee and axe kicks her opponent. She was not able to hit that, but she hit a lot of her key moves, and she goes up for the frog splash, and one of my most hated finishers. This is right up there with the triple threat push the other guy out of the ring for the pinfall. This is where Satomura hits a big move, big frog splash. Ginny no-sells it and rolls her up. That's how it ended. Not a fan. I hate it. It's a big deal breaker for me a lot of the times. So Ginny is Progress Women's Champion again. I spoke about this briefly on the Smack It Down podcast with Jay. He had a guest for one of his final shows of the year. Go check that out. Where the women's wrestling scene, especially in Europe, all the stars are concentrated in NXT UK. It's spread incredibly thin. Even if you go look at the women's promotion, Pro Wrestling Eve, as good as it is to go check them out, I do recommend it if you're a women's wrestling fan. Go check out the Euro women's wrestling promotion there. But they lack stars. All the stars are in NXT UK, and even in NXT UK, their biggest stars are now in NXT USA. So the feeder of the feeder, and then the European scene are the feeders themselves. You're gonna get just, here's a quote-unquote champion of women champion of your promotion, and there's just no competition to go around. It's a real shame. It's the same in WXW. Rev Pro is just like gone non-existent because they just don't have the talent pool to pick from. So you've seen IPW go down. It's a real shame. But that's the case here. Jinny's champion. Not much else to make of it. Timothy Thatcher and Cassius Ohno have a grappling match because this is Thatcher's wheelhouse. It went pretty well. It definitely went entirely too long. It went just under 17 minutes. Ohno is very slow. It's amazing what 18 months has done since his last Progress appearance. When he got to the Strong Style 16 finals against Zack Sabre Jr. last year. Needless to say, Thatcher's in great shape. He's very good at his style. Ohno could more or less match up with him, but he is not as mobile as he used to be. He is not the Chris Hero. He's not even the knockout artist of Cassius Ohno. He's a big guy in the ring, unfortunately. So I didn't like this match too much. Thatcher got the best match he could out of the guy. Passable, I suppose. And then we got the Progress title match. Finally, a title match. Eddie Dennis has shown up against David Starr. 16 minutes, 30 seconds. They have an outside brawl for a little while. Lots of chairs being used. David Starr got a very good match out of Eddie Dennis, but this was the David Starr show. Like, zero doubt in my mind it was the David Starr show. He showed up to I'm going to make a good match out of Eddie Dennis. And you can tell how the match is laid out, how the match flowed, and the maneuvers. Starr would kind of flow into an Eddie Dennis power move. That was the story of the match. I did like the finish. I really wish the champion was there for a longer program. Of course, after Starr hits heavy move after heavy move after heavy move, Eddie Dennis just kicks out of all these big maneuvers. David Starr is really trying to get over his lariat there, his hand Stanson, as he likes to call it. He never did hit the true hand Stanson lariat. What ends up happening is there's a ref bump after the barrage kick out, and as the ref is down, Mark Andrews hits Starr with a shooting star press, and Eddie Dennis just pins him. So it's a Jimmy Havoc-esque type booking here, where gotta have the heel go over. It's very consistent with Progress booking, so I didn't mind that too much, as opposed to I didn't like the barrage finish. And even though, yes, it was a very passable match, I do recommend checking it out. It is good. It's up there. It's if I'm to compare Progress with NXT UK, I did go out on Twitter and have Hibiki TMD and Matt Trennant, I think that's Matt whatever his last name is, on Twitter recommend a bunch of NXT UK matches that I hadn't seen, haven't checked out. And I gotta say, this match right here was better than the triple threat tag match with Gallus and the South Wales boys. It was better than Walter just killing Trent Seven, but that's mostly because I had seen Trent Seven, Walter, Super Strong Style. That was a great match. Besides the two big title takeover matches, I would say the big matches in Progress, being that these are all new matches, trumps what I saw in NXT UK. And yeah, I'm a little biased, but I am very much down on Progress this year. It probably has a lot to do with I've seen a lot of the programs and matches that NXT UK is doing. It's the occasional kind of nice surprise. I watched the Dragunov Alexander Wolf, the Tischer match. That was nice. That's kind of a dream match, WXW dream match. That, who knows, maybe we'll see in 2020 in WXW, which they'll be able to do a little bit more. Because you can definitely see a very much different style in NXT UK than what you get out of Progress. There's a lot more match freedom, I would say. So, I gotta check my rankings. I think I made a mistake. No, it's fine. So, yeah, that will... Didn't play my drop for Progress. Bummer. It's okay. Not a big deal. I went straight into it, but I do... You know what? I can play it right now, going into the spotlight. Where is my drop for progress? Where is it? There it is. There we go. All right, Wrestler Spotlight. The final, we've made it in this long journey. It's taken all of 2019. I think some of 2018 as well, as I take a sip of my nice beverage here. Big celebration. It is the final NWA US title champion Retro Wrestler Spotlight. We've come a long way. We're up to champion 22. Michael Hayes, of all people, the 39th reign, winning the title from Lex Luger on May 7th, 1989 at Wrestle War pay-per-view. Hayes would go on to lose the title back in just 15 days to Luger later at a house show. So just a quick recap of Michael Hayes and who he is. He's one of the leaders of the Fabulous Freebirds tag team in NWA WCW fame. Had very good tag team feuds against Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, just to name a couple. Those are your big ones. Classic NWA tag team wrestling. That besides, I would say, like when the Steiners and the Road Warriors were involved, this was kind of your core group. Just classic tag team wrestling. Much of what a lot of the slow teams do these days of the isolation, it's very much a standard WWE tag team match. But because of the era this was in, the late 80s, early 90s, this was totally fine. You know, you saw Demolition do it in WWF. Doesn't quite work for today's tag team wrestling if you see it over and over and over again. So luckily, watching a bunch of Dragon Gate and AEW tag team matches, this was a nice change of pace. I ended up watching more Freebirds tag team matches for the podcast, just in my own entertainment rather than watching a bunch more Lex Luger matches. I am Lex Lugered out. Every match is the fucking same from Lex Luger. Barely sells anything. He hardly moves. It's a forearm, a clubbing, a bad looking punch, and then he press slams a dude. Michael Hayes at least had a little bit of charisma going. I'm not a huge fan of his. There was a couple matches I watched where Hayes Luger were in matches in like Chicago in the summer. This was, I believe, the heel turn for Lex Luger, because he was always a babyface prior when he wasn't in the Horsemen. Hayes had a little charisma. I didn't like the way he didn't really have any offense. You know, if he was a singles guy, he was boring to me. And now he's a road agent and producer for WWE, and you could definitely tell his fingerprints if you watch his matches are over a lot of the WWE matches, and you're just like, man, that's out of date. You just feel it, right? So, no, not the hugest. He didn't make a big impact. He was only 15-day champion, so whatever. Tag team guy. And then the technical final NWA US champion is champion 23, the very last one. That's not Lex Luger. Stan Hansen, the 41st reign, winning from, of course, Luger, October 27th, 1990 at Halloween Havoc. If you want to see Lex Luger get the stiff pissed... the piss stiffed out of him. There we go. This is the feud for you. It was an okay match. I was just more or less laughing at the stiff shots Hansen gave Luger, and you kind of see Luger go, God, that hurt. But needless to say, Hansen will also lose the title back to Luger just 50 days later at Starrcade in an infamous kind of hard-hitting bull rope match at Starrcade. The title was thusly renamed the WCW US title with the official split of the NWA from WCW in 1990. So there you go. Stan Hansen was, in my mind, the last new well, not in my mind. He was the last new person that won the title, but Luger was the very last one. The title was shortly vacated after that, and then you got the WCW US title, and of course, at the end of WCW, became the WWF US title, where we are today. Won't be going into those. When you think about it, this was my travel down the NWA, watching a lot of NWA type matches, watching that old style crowd reaction, how matches flowed, seeing what holds up today and what doesn't. Tag team matches more or less hold up today, but you can definitely see guys whose styles were definitely timeless. Ric Flair, Steamboat, some matches against Sting. I liked Nikita Koloff. He was a great surprise. I would say the early 80s, mid 80s was definitely the golden age of this title. I would say it died when Lex Luger came, actually, and that also comes with a lot of the Dusty Rhodes booking, NWA. Then it goes into Jim Crockett and just kind of fell apart because it just didn't. I got a lot more stipulation matches. The best stip match was definitely probably the cage match with Tully Blanchard and Magnum TA. That was awesome. That was probably the best US title match I saw on the entire list. And then it just never felt like the title became that traditional, I will win this and become the number one contender situation. Those guys would go on to be the legit contenders, right? It definitely lost its luster after Magnum TA went down. Unfortunately, got some highlight kind of feuds of going back and forth, but Stan Hansen, I went over a little bit of him when I did the spotlight over Big Van Vader with their big match in All Japan. I ended up watching more All Japan Stan Hansen matches more than this. I did watch that Halloween Havoc 1990 match. It was just funny seeing at the end of this journey, and my hatred for Lex Luger all culminates in watching Stan Hansen beat the hell out of him. And then the bull rope match, I was like, do I really want to watch this? Because I'll see Stan Hansen lose. Information I thought was interesting was Stan Hansen was definitely more of the Japan guy, top gaijin, if you will. And I read an excerpt saying that him and WCW came to, not blows, but a very much disagreement when once he was kind of out of this US title picture, they wanted to put him in goofy programs with bumbling cowboys, just goofy comedy stuff that NWA, WCW, just bad booking back in the early 90s when they were trying to still find themselves and break away from WWF's stranglehold on the market. Regional wrestling was dead at this point. So Stan Hansen wanted nothing to do with comedic booking, and he went back to Japan to kick some ass, and that's what he did. Stan Hansen, big lariat guy. He was the one that came up with that, and you see a lot of his hard style influence in a lot of wrestling today. I would recommend watching the Misawa Stan Hansen rivalry. I'm a big fan of that, watching the big two burly dudes go at it. And then more information I thought was interesting was I found paragraphs out of an Old Japan history book that you can easily Google and find. Was Misawa when Baba died is when no gaijin basically. So Stan Hansen more or less lost his place, and I definitely do not agree with that because Vader and Hansen in All Japan in the early 90s, from all those matches I've seen in Misawa, that was a big draw to me. So to get rid of kind of this guy, I think you need contrasting styles, you need different styles, you need different looks and characters in your wrestling promotion. So you definitely, I think that's missing in All Japan today. It's definitely missing in Noah, but with the new owners, you're seeing a lot more guys from outside come into Noah because it's been that more or less same group of guys for like 5 years. But now you're seeing Chris Ridgway go in. You're seeing Jake Lee, who's from I believe it's Korea. He's no Jake Lee's in All Japan. What am I thinking? Alexander Hammerstone with the MLW agreement. So, yeah, Estelle Hansen took me down a path of kind of comparing what the Japanese wrestling scene is today. He's kind of what Blackjack Mulligan evolved into, more than Barry and Kendall Windham did, but Barry Windham was definitely a guy I kind of fell in love with on this journey, and I just covered him on the previous podcast. This was very interesting and much to learn, but all things must come to an end. The NWA US title, seeing the mid-card guys, who rose up, who didn't, where did the booking go wrong, kind of thing. It was just, I learned a lot on this journey, and now it's time to learn further, not just watch random matches. I am going into the New Japan Retro Recap, starting in 1990, so right where this NWA US title ends. I'm beginning with New Japan and whatever is available on New Japan World, whether it's entire big shows or select matches. I hope to watch at least, 3 good matches from a big show if I can. So it all depends on what's on their VOD, what's in their archive for New Japan World. Perhaps I can find some more. I know the Real Hero archive is back. Maybe they got some more matches there. So I'm basically kind of starting over Jushin Thunder Liger's career, Ultimo Dragon's early career. Hope to see some Vader and Stan Hansen. Perhaps I'll get some All Japan matches, kind of slip them in there on the journey, because All Japan during the 90s was just as important. But I have access to New Japan archive, so now it'll transition into my mom and I talking about the weekly wrestling recap to finish out the year. It's the last one. Uncharted Territory season finale. MLW's coming to an end. Basically, our watch journey. We're gonna finish out the Opera Cup. That's about it there. And AEW done with 13 weeks or 12 weeks, something like that. See what's happened there. And when I come back alone, it'll be for the All Japan Women's Classics. And it's the weekly wrestling recap. Mom,
Yay,
you're back.
Hey, I'm back.
You always interrupt me before I'm even able to introduce you. You know that? You do that a lot.
Oh, you want to reintroduce me then?
Weekly wrestling recap. Hello, Mom. You're back for another one.
Hey, how you doing,
Hey,
sweetie?
I'm so glad for you to join me. Get your drink. We got cheers.
Cheers.
You're back. You're back for the Christmas holidays.
Yay, cheers.
We watched the wrestling.
Chin chin.
We got Beyond Wrestling as usual with the season finale.
Yeah.
This is the last,
And actually, it was pretty fun.
second to last time we'll talk about this, because we still got Heavy Lies the Crown, which we're going to on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
The big show.
I can't wait.
The big pay-per-view. Biggest show of the year.
People are paying.
People pay for this, yes. We got MLW, the last show of the year, because, well, episode 90 was a recap of their, best of, so whatever. And then AEW, their last of 2019.
Yeah.
But you went to episode 13. I got to talk about episode 12 of Beyond Wrestling Uncharted Territory. Okay. Season 2. David Starr versus Layla Hirsch went almost 20 minutes.
Oh,
it was
my
really
God.
long.
Why?
She was exhausted. Well, you can't get better unless you are in a match real long, and this was a great environment. David Starr is a fantastic fucking wrestler. And Layla Hirsch is just starting out.
So it was man against woman?
It was. It was an intergender, and she got the shit kicked out of her. And she held the whole point was for her to hold her own, keep up.
Yeah.
And she did. I didn't think most of the match was all that great, but it was interesting to see someone try to hang as long as she did. The tournament of tomorrow, which you got to see the finals, Casanova beat Alec Price, meh. Richard Holiday beat CJ Cruz, also meh. But I imagine those two guys, Price and Cruz, will be returning more often. Kind of the point of this tournament is to elevate stars, and kind of showcase these are the guys that are going to be coming back.
Okay.
Yeah. There was...
So, question on the holiday thing. So, was he in Beyond a lot? Was he at the shows a lot?
Not in 2018, when he kind of broke out onto the scene more in 2019.
Okay.
And over the course of the year, I've seen it more and more.
Okay.
On the program. Kind of coinciding with MLW and the Dynasty starting.
Uh-huh.
So he became, I guess, more of a star, let's say.
Uh-huh.
Discovery Gauntlet, Aaron Rourke, the bad gay guy, I guess I could describe him that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 6'4", 200 pounds of muscle.
Uh-huh.
That's another way to describe him, but that's kind of a generic way.
Okay.
He's been really fun to watch in the Discovery Gauntlet. He went into week 13 with 5 wins, I believe. Maybe 4. Legit Legends took on Chris Statlander, Nick Gage, and surprise tag team partner Wheeler Yuta. Statlander was there, but she didn't do much in the match at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think she was just kind of there to be a draw and a star.
Okay.
And the focus being on the team of Legit Legends cheating, right?
Wasn't that the same week that she was at a...
She showed up the next she was at AEW the previous night.
Yeah.
And the main event was Silver. He took on Eddie Kingston because the week prior they lost a tag team match. Then Kingston kicked him in the balls. Silver beat him in 6 minutes. Show was okay. I was kind of tired at the end of it, that's for sure. And then 13, you showed up.
Yes. Good.
Yeah. So Silver...
I was pleasantly surprised.
It was a stacked show, and it felt like it.
Yeah.
It just flew by.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
Silver took on Canadian Jody Threat, the skateboard girl, Fire Redhead.
Yeah.
That was pretty wild. You got to meet her after the show in her raspy voice because she got kicked in the throat.
Yeah, I asked her what was wrong with her throat. She got kicked in the throat.
I got kicked.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, she did pretty good, actually. I mean, considering.
Mm-hmm. That's another case of... Now your phone went off. That's another case of... Can the woman keep up with the guy? And I think at the end of this, she did.
I didn't like it.
This match wasn't 20 minutes, it was 7 minutes.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. I really felt bad for her. I'm not a big fan of the...
Intergender?
Yeah, I'm not. Not feeling that one.
Well, I'll get you in a second. Heads of the Class, aka not the Varsity Club of the past, taking on the Ugly Ducklings.
Which was...
Quack, quack.
Yeah, that was so stupid.
Quack. Quack. It felt like an indie stuff. Yeah. Aaron Rourke took on Slade. Lost in inside 2 minutes. I was very disappointed in this. Because I like Aaron Rourke. I hope to see a lot more of him. Not a big fan of Slade at all. He's, I think he's a convicted felon. And he sure looks like one, comes across like one. A poor man's Nick Gage.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris Statlander took on Anthony Green in an 11-minute match. Your eyes lit up seeing her. And this whole match, this is why I'm saying I'm disputing your argument that you don't like intergender wrestling.
I don't.
You were so into this match. 1,000% you were into this match.
Because I like Chris, but I don't like matches.
Well, you like this one. You were screaming.
I don't care what you
were
say.
into it. You were chanting.
Because I wanted her to kick his ass, but...
And she did. She won.
Yeah, but that still doesn't mean I like it.
I think you're full of shit.
Well...
I think you're so headstrong that you don't like the idea of a man versus woman, that despite you getting what you wanted in the match, with the girl kicking the dude's ass, and him being a dick, which we threw streamers at Chris Statlander, by the way, and then she put one in her mouth.
Yeah.
In which then Anthony threw his jacket at her because of the streamers.
And she put his jacket on, and she goes, "It's too hot for me, guys."
This was a fantastic match, and then this was followed by the Tournament for Tomorrow finals. Christian Casanova against Richard Holiday, with Mr. Leatherpants next to him, with the orangey glasses. This kept the pace, and it was awesome. It felt like a finals.
Yeah,
it's the best Richard Holiday match I think I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and Casanova came across as a huge star. The crowd was all chanting his name. He is the Tournament for Tomorrow champion, and rightfully so. And you're a consumer.
And I am a consumer.
Yeah. You can go to Twitter at BowlingJD, Red Leaf Retrocast, and you can see Mama-san here becoming a consumer with one Mr. Richard Holiday.
Dick Holiday.
You're the one, like, bend over, let me see your ass during the audience, and it was great. Independent wrestling title match.
Warhorse. I
Warhorse.
wanted you to get a picture of his ass.
Well, I got him.
That's right. That's right.
Most marketable ass.
Right.
Was my tweet of him like bending over a couple times. Independent wrestling title match. Warhorse going to break the record set by one Tracy Williams, taking on Josh Briggs, and the match was missing something. Wouldn't you say?
I would say.
There's a fantastic picture out on Twitter of Josh Briggs giving him the big choke slam from the top rope.
Right.
And you can see your face with your mouth wide open, eyes wide, and just going during this moment. Because he was up in the air and slammed all the way across the ring, slammed to the ground. And then that was the cue for Anthony.
My mouth?
Your mouth.
I was on Twitter.
Wide agaped. It is on
and you didn't show it to me?
Well, I haven't gotten around to it yet.
What? We've had days.
We've had... Yeah, days.
Days.
I didn't see it till this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Match ends by Anthony Green kind of doing shenanigans on the outside because him and Briggs have a thing from a few weeks ago. Ava Everett gets on the apron, you remember? He turns around and boots her in the face accidentally. Green runs away outside the building.
Oh, yeah.
And with the really stupid finish of he waits around forever, picks her up, takes her to the back as the refs all count in 10. Funny moment, though. He like storms around the corner, takes the whole entranceway down by accident.
Right.
I don't know if that was on purpose or not. It sure didn't seem like it.
No.
And he gets counted out. Warhorse like wakes up. What happened, bro?
Yeah, that was lame.
It was really stupid.
Yeah, that was lame.
Like, we get what they were going for, but it was bad.
Yeah, it was lame.
Yeah. And the main event, we just could not care less about Ricky Shane Page against Chris Dickinson, and it ends in DQ, so who cares? We were like checked out when that main event happened.
Yeah.
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 You were trashed. I was tired.
Trashed?
You were absolutely trashed.
What? How can you say that about your mother?
Well, it's true.
What?
You were glossy-eyed. You were swimming with the fishes.
I think not.
You were seeing 4 of me.
I was
You went
not.
from having 2 sons to 4.
No. How dare you? I went and got more of my autographs from the Beyond.
Let's see, you got Jody Threat, you got Richard Holiday. Anybody? Oh, John Silver. You took a picture of him with Join Dark Order.
That's right.
Yeah. He was very happy. I'll take us into... So, Beyond, super fun.
Yes, it was awesome. I always enjoy Beyond.
And so that's 2 shows you've been to.
I'm a total Beyond fan. I enjoy it.
And we're going to Heavy Lies the Crown.
Yeah.
With everything coming together.
Yep.
Get to
Looking forward to it.
Get to see Dark Order against Chris Statlander.
Yeah. Awesome.
Briggs versus Green.
Yeah.
Bear Country versus...
Well, I hope Statlander beats Dark Order.
I hope so too.
I do, but I still won't like it.
I don't know if it's gonna happen though. You okay over there?
No.
You dying?
Yeah. I need water.
Get you some water.
Yeah, I need water.
Well,
but anyway.
Get your water in a second. MLW. Let me play this music here as you're. Jesus Christ! Here.
Told you.
What are you looking forward to tomorrow night as I get you some water?
Tomorrow night?
Yes, New Year's Eve tomorrow night.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's already here? I'm looking forward to everything.
Oh, that's a cop-out answer. I like that. Here's your water.
Well, you know what I say about 2020. It's going to be perfect vision year.
Ha 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 ha. I'm going to play the drop.
I'm going to have a year of perfect vision. Hello.
All right. Time for MLW. Last one of the year, episode 89. They're going through the Opera Cup, which has been pretty neat to see. See MLW have some continuity, like a direction we know they're heading.
Yeah.
It's a knockout tournament. We know that Brian Pillman Jr. and Timothy Thatcher are through. They're our first two semifinalists of the Opera Cup. We start out with the Prince of Darkness match. Jimmy Havoc defeating Mance Warner via Acid Rainmaker. This was so weeks ago. There was the glass on the eyes backstage, but he cut his forehead. So now they have a match with two guys with black hoods on, and they're bumbling him around the ring. Going like, "Oh, where is he?" I thought this match was stupid.
Pure stupid, dumb. Couldn't even. That was so ridiculous. Seeing somebody walking around a ring, supposedly not being able to see.
It was a waste of time.
It was a waste of time, and it was a waste of audience's intelligence to actually tolerate such stupid. What do you want to? Well, how do I want to say such ignorance?
Ignorance.
So it's pure ignorant.
Yeah, Priscilla Kelly interfered, kicked Mance Warner in the balls. Jimmy Havoc took the hood off a couple times. Why the ref didn't just call the match off right there because he broke the rules.
Right, he should have.
It was dumb. What was funny though on the show was Tom Lawler running around the streets of New York City away from Ross Von Erich.
Right.
Because he was cutting a promo, and then Von Erich pops out the corner. I gotcha.
Right.
And they run all around the city. It goes a couple times. Lawler eventually escapes into a subway car, giving him the finger.
Right.
I laughed.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Okay.
Yeah. Contra Unit attacks Team Strong Hearts during their little promo, so it sets something up there. Mm-hmm. Gives Contra Unit a direction with some newcomers. Cool, I guess.
Okay.
And then we had our two Opera Cup matches. We had Hammerstone versus MJF. Did you enjoy this one? Maybe?
Not really.
Not really? Why not?
Boring.
Boring? What made it boring?
MJF.
Why was he boring?
He is boring.
JF's boring?
He is boring.
Oh. What makes him boring to you?
I don't like him.
What, I don't think he's a dick, not a good wrestler? What?
All of it.
All of it? Hammerstone wins via sit-out powerbomb. I liked Richard Holiday in this match. He had he made sure he had his AirPods in, and all throughout the match, he's just back and forth looking. No, don't hit each other, guys. No, you're my friends. And at one point, he was gonna throw in the towel to prevent either guy from winning.
Right.
Because he represents both. And the ref's no, you can't do that. Not in this situation. And even prior, MJF tried to bribe Hammerstone to throw the match. What?
Right.
No, but that didn't work. Hammerstone wasn't having it. Even at the beginning, MJF tried to poke him, do the finger poke of doom.
Right.
Via Hogan and Nash from years and years ago, WCW, but Hammerstone just poked him back. Mm-hmm. It's no, you do it. Right? And they have a match, and MJF tried to hit him. He hit him in the balls. That didn't work. And hey, all for nothing with the Meat Castle. He wins. The man Meat Castle, because he's a big guy. No, not feeling the Meat Castle. And then Davey Boy Smith Jr. took on Low Key, in which ended with the backpack roll up off the Low Key sleeper hold. Kind of flipped him over, pinned him.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about during this match, I kind of wish more wrestling matches would have different moves win matches every now and again.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, that same thing happened in this match. So I was like, hey, this is awesome. But it was kind of slow. Like, the audience just didn't care.
Not really. I think because...
Like, the whole night.
Yeah. I think because low-key to have lost something. He's lackluster.
You know what I think it is? We saw him for weeks with those, like, one kick, one punch knockouts. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's in a wrestling match. And he kicks or punches somebody, and they don't go down. So, either that makes him look weak, or all those weeks of build was bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very lackluster. Yep. Yeah.
I like the finish, but our 4 Opera Cup finalists are Thatcher Pillman Jr., DBS, and Hammerstone. So a strong 4 for MLW, but they're not stars. They're not big names, right?
Right.
So everyone's like Jacob Fatu's not in it, Jimmy Havoc's not in it, Mance Warner, Lawler's not in it. He's busy getting chased around subways.
Right.
You know, they're trying to make a new star with this cup, but what's the goal after that?
Right.
I just, are they the number 1 contender? We haven't seen LA Park in forever. Zelina De La Renta is taking hot young men into her dressing room.
Well, wasn't that the same guy that was earlier?
Yeah, where she went out like on a date with him or something.
Building him up for something. Who knows?
Who knows? MLW is exciting these days.
Not really.
Reason why we're stopping to watch it, to try out other things.
Right.
We gave it a good shot.
Yeah.
I watched every MLW show in 2019.
Like
every single one. And it's kind of fallen off as the year has gone on.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will say Super Fight, the pay-per-view that we watched, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
LA Park and Jacob Fatu was easily MLW match of the year to me.
Uh-huh.
On to AEW, shall we?
Sure.
Okay. Shall we play Kenny Omega or Sheeta's music?
Kenny.
Kenny? Always Kenny?
The one-winged angel screams. It fuels my hopes and dreams. The best bag
Alrighty. AEW December 18th, 2019. Episode, 12 or 13, whatever it is. Who cares about that number? December 18th, 2019, AEW. The last show of 2019. They took Christmas off. Mm-hmm. It was awful nice of them. No tape show or nothing. Just, hey, get the night.
Yeah. Get the Christmas off.
We start off the show immediately with the Lucha Brothers taking on Adam Page and Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
No commercials, mind you. Just went all the way through the match.
Okay.
17 minutes, 48 seconds in total. It all led to the miscue of Page and his buckshot lariat into Omega by accident, costing them the match.
Dun, 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 dun.
I thought the match was a lot of fun. There was a couple miscues in there, which was an oops. Kind of like Mayu Itani jumping off and splat. Like there's one where Phoenix does like a somersault and then he goes for a cutter, but Omega just kind of moves to the side and goes to Pentagon instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the dissension between Page and Omega? Page cost him the match, Mom.
Yeah, they're leading up to something.
What's the something?
I don't know.
What do you think it is? Against the Lucha Brothers? That's possible. What we did get was Pac comes on the screen, in which was a half cool, half what the fuck was going on segment, as I described it. See there in my notes? Pac wants his rubber match with Kenny, but Kenny keeps ducking him, he says. So he's going to have to take matters into his own hands. You brought this on yourself. And then he opens the door and there's his buddy Nakazawa, just like in the corner of the room, Blair Witch style, with headphones on. Then he closes the door, and then we go to a commercial. Right?
Right.
and then it shows Kenny in that inset screen picture-in-picture thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny's running to the back, and then the Lucha Bros jump him for whatever reason. We don't really know why, other than I guess they're dicks.
Wasn't that where they kidnapped?
No one was kidnapped.
Somebody was in the chair.
Yeah, Nakazawa.
Yeah.
Kenny's buddy. Kenny's goofy buddy.
Right. And then he went to go get him.
He went to go save him because Pac closed the door.
Yeah.
To like kick his ass or something.
So then when he went to find him, he was gone.
Him and Pac was gone. We're gone.
Yeah, and then they get attacked by the Lucha Brothers.
Which I can't explain at all why that happened, other than I guess your reason where they're gonna have a rematch.
Yeah.
Because the Lucha Bros jumped them and beat them.
Yeah.
And it was a fluke win, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is a big problem with AEW with all these picture-in-picture. There's important shit happening. There's no way commentary can explain it because you can't hear them.
Right.
You can't hear what the people are saying in case that's important.
And at first you liked that picture-in-picture.
Well, they weren't doing these kind of things.
Yeah, they weren't cutting. They weren't cutting to things that ended up being important. Because before when they were doing the picture-in-picture, it was just fighting, wrestling.
It was either wrestling or
there was no talking,
a beatdown of some kind, or just someone walking in the back.
Yeah, there wasn't anything important that you were missing. But now you're missing stuff, and you're losing a lot of information.
Yeah, the one thing that drives me nuts is they're forcing us to consume all of their like social media and everything. You got to follow everyone on Twitter to get the whole story. You got to follow. You got to watch Being the Elite on YouTube. You have to watch AEW Dark. Because there's important.
I got time for that.
There's important backstories on Dark.
But I don't got time for that.
Yeah, what if all you got time is watching your one?
What if I'm not all on Twitter and all of that shit?
Well, to them, it's like you better get on it, which is ironic because the Young Bucks got off Twitter. Now they just have like a social account, right? That someone else runs. So it's like you want us to follow all you guys for all the information, but then you have the people that are running the thing not.
Right.
It's kind of hypocritical, but so yeah, like Kenny and Paige then get up after Lucha Bros beat up Kenny and Paige saves him, even though they were butting heads in the ring.
Right.
And then they wander around in the back, and it cuts to Darby Allin walking in the ring. So we don't, and we never get answers to any of this.
None.
We get no answers to Pac and Nakazawa just disappearing.
Well, even the announcers aren't even filling you in, and they should be. The announcers should be filling in some information.
Yeah.
But then they don't have the information either because they can't.
Right, they can't answer anything.
They go, well, that was kind of strange. And they just start in on the whatever's at the wrestling ring again.
So that sucked.
Yeah.
That part sucked. I liked the match, but everything after that sucked. Now, as the match started, there was a flicker across the screen of Dark Order. So that kind of set a subliminal story for the night, as it turned out. Tag team match, Cody with Darby Allin. Because remember, Darby Allin saved Cody from the beating last week and said, I'll be your partner. And then this is what I'm saying, on Twitter, Darby explained his actions. He goes, I saved him, and if I help him beat the Butcher and the Blade, who have been a thorn in Cody's side, because he was hired by MJF, which was a promo on AEW Dark, by the way.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so many sources I have to put together to make
too much shit going on.
Like, the story all makes sense, but I have to connect everything.
Yeah.
It's not my job to connect everything. It's your job. Like, I shouldn't watch.
It's the AEW job.
Right, it's the AEW job. I shouldn't have to watch Lost in Space from 1962 to understand Lost in Space in 2019.
Right.
Right?
True.
So or I have to follow Netflix on Twitter, and then they tell me half the story.
Will Robinson, we have a problem?
Yeah, Danger Will Robinson. That's what I'm saying. But anyways, match goes 10 minutes. It was fine. They win. Darby and Cody will now face each other on New Year's Eve. Thumbs up, I guess. Sure. Awesome Kong.
They beat the Butcher.
They did. They melted him. I don't know where they go from here now.
The bunny. Okay,
Awesome Kong squashes some chick named Miranda Elise.
Right.
Then takes her hair.
Takes her hair. Whatever.
Brandy still wants the alien to join them. Then some creepy pale bald guy. He remains a mystery.
Well,
no, not yet.
You have to. Maybe you have to search out in AEW Dark the answer.
No, they haven't given the answer away yet.
Oh, they haven't. Okay.
No, if you go like into the dirt sheets and various other sources of like if you want the answer, you can find it.
Okay.
But AEW itself hasn't revealed anything yet, so I don't have a problem with that part.
Okay.
Non-title 10-minute time limit match, Chris Jericho taking on Jungle Boy. Jungle Jack Perry. Before this, we had a sit down with good old JR with the Jungle Boy, having a talk about how his dad would be proud, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Jericho comes to the ring. They go to the picture-in-picture, and
and the mom and the sister were there too.
Right. Yeah, they were ringside. Yeah. Sammy Guevara channels his inner Lodi from WCW, carrying signs, ripping TNT for the inset promos, the picture-in-picture, and then they cut it off. I kind of like that. That was funny. Then they came back. They had their match. Essentially, Jungle Boy gets tossed around for a while. Hager interferes just to be a dick. He even knocks out Marco Stunt. Him and Luchasaurus kind of butt heads, and then Aubrey Edwards, the referee, she just tosses them all out.
Yep.
Leaves Jericho with the Jungle Boy alone. Jungle Boy lasts the 10 minutes. Jericho gets pissed off because he didn't beat him.
Yeah.
His own arrogance defeated him, if anything. So then he demands 5 more minutes. He gets in the ring. Jungle Boy rolls him up twice real quick. And then he just gets out the ring, takes his title, and runs away. He's like, oh, he almost got me. I'm out of here. So then they go to commercial. He kind of throws stuff around. Tony Schiavone, the commentator, meets Jericho on the stage to interview him. And then Tony Schiavone goes, Jericho, like, what's going on, man? He's like, I told you the Jungle Boy couldn't beat me. No, Chris, you said the Jungle Boy couldn't last 10 minutes with you. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Shut up!
Right, that went on for 10 minutes. No, you didn't.
No, it was a few seconds.
I know. I'm just saying.
So, Chris Jericho's totally embarrassed. He wants everyone to forget about it. He starts talking about Jon Moxley.
Right.
Because the Jungle Boy embarrassed him. Or he embarrassed himself.
He embarrassed himself.
Right? And Tony Schiavone's calling him out on his embarrassment.
Yep.
So he's like, oh no, the real story is Jon Moxley joining the Inner Circle. Because we got all the, I don't know, he's saying like all the money, the best women, the Spanish God, who knows what
yeah, right.
Who knows what he has to give, and he can't wait for his answer.
Moxley would never join the Inner Circle. He would not come close to joining the Inner Circle.
What if he pulls a DDP, puts on the shirt, and then beats everyone up, and then takes off and goes through the crowd? That's what Diamond Dallas Page did with the NWO. They're really doing a lot of weird WCW things. AEW is. So I have a little nostalgia for it, but it's fine. I hope they don't do that directly. Maybe he joins, finds Jericho's weakness, destroys the Inner Circle from the inside.
Inner Circle joins Moxley.
And then when they go to the pay-per-view in February, they have a match. That's a good 4 to 5 weeks they could do that, right?
Sure.
That'd be cool. That'd be different.
Could be.
No one would expect it.
Oh.
And it'd be a good story. Number 1 contendership match. Chris Statlander defeats Britt Baker in a bad match. But it had a good ending. Chris Statlander powers out of the lockjaw submission hold, like throws her on her shoulders, flips her upside down, hits her with the Big Bang Theory. But the match was real slow. Like, you do this. And they're going like 2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
1 kilometer an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could definitely tell they're both really young into their careers.
Well, I think I think Chris could do a lot more. I think she's held back.
Well, she definitely has more matches than Britt Baker. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think Chris
And you can
is
tell.
being held back. I don't know why.
Well, they're trying to make the sports feel to it, and they're trying to push certain people over others, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get the purpose of making the match, but from a skill standpoint, these two aren't ready. And we were talking about this in the car, that AEW's women division, it's not lacking the potential and the talent. What it's lacking is the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And the people to carry the younger ones over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Hikaru Shida and Awesome Kong are kind of those two people, but Awesome Kong is, well, she's at the twilight of her career. She's been retired,
Mm-hmm.
right? Shida is the most experienced, the most well-rounded, can go with anybody. I don't think we've seen a bad match from her yet. Right? And Riho, with her experience, yes, she has experience, but she's so small, she can't work with everybody.
Right.
Or she has to work her own style because of her size.
Right.
This is where the AEW's women's division's at a huge disadvantage. That's why Emi Sakura plays such an important role.
Uh-huh.
You know? That's
Okay.
why she's put up to where she is, because she can work with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, whether the match is great or not is irrelevant. It's the experience that helps.
Uh-huh.
So either AEW needs to, as we found out later, Chris Statlander, despite winning, will not face Riho on January 1st because she has Beyond Wrestling on New Year's Eve and then Bar Wrestling in California on New Year's Day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So right after the New Year's Eve show, she's on a flight to California across the country to
Wow.
wrestle that night there.
Wow.
So there was like whether it was AEW didn't know or she didn't tell or they signed the contract and they're like, well, shit, by the way, I have this going on.
Right.
Who knows what the communication issue there is. What I do like is they just said, okay, we'll do it in 2 weeks. No
Yeah.
big deal, you know.
Right.
What I don't like is all the people that Riho has beaten. Now everyone gets a shot. Fatal 4-way. Nyla Rose, Shida, and Britt Baker. Right?
Mm-hmm.
One was suspended, right? And goes wrestle in Japan for a month. One just lost here. And lost to Riho recently.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Well, Rio's not going to lose.
Shida. And then
She's not going
Shida.
to lose anyway. So, you know, whoever she goes up against, and we've had this conversation, whoever she goes up against, she's not going to lose. Because the promotion was originally with Statlander and Riho. And I think that 4-way match, it's totally irrelevant. It's just a filler.
Okay.
But ultimately, Riho's going to win because the big draw is going to be Statlander and Riho. And if it's anybody else, I'd be surprised.
The only conceivable person I could see winning this match is Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
And then that could leave you to a power versus power battle.
Yes.
For the title the very next week.
Yes.
I just don't think it's time. Nyla's not ready.
Uh-huh.
I don't think she's good enough to carry the title.
Right.
Anyways.
And it's
I think I should be more upset about Riho now having to face 3 people instead of 1.
Well,
this isn't fair.
It isn't fair. I don't think it's fair at all.
Team Riho should...
I don't think it should be a title of anything.
You think it should be a...
I think it should be just a filler and not a title match because I don't think... I think that should be taken out of the equation.
You know what I think they should have done? Instead of the... You got to postpone your number 1 contender facing the title. Fine.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Yes.
That happens in real sports all the time.
Absolutely.
Rain outs or rain delays or
right.
scheduling conflicts or whatever. I think they should have had the number 2 and 3 face each other.
That would have been fine.
Yeah.
Anything other than what they're doing. I don't think that for the title on That is fair.
Or you have a fatal 4-way without Riho of 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Right? All against each other.
Right.
And whoever wins automatically becomes the number one contender for the winner of Statlander Riho.
There.
You know.
Fair enough.
I think that's way better. But I think AEW, because they promised a title match on January 1st, they felt they had to deliver that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, either way, they could have done it differently. And I think this was not a good choice on their part to do it this way, because I don't think it's fair.
I don't think the fatal 4-way should have gone.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think it's right.
And then we got our main event. SCU taking on the Young Bucks for the tag titles. Not much to say here other than I thought it was an okay match. It was fine. It was a tag match. And the Bucks are losers.
They are losers. Yeah, I agree. They
are liars. They're lying to us fans that they're the best tag team in the world, so at least there's a story behind it. All right? So the story has been going, and you've seen this, is the Elite are big fat losers. Paige is the biggest loser of them all, according to him. That's why he left on being the Elite. And then commentary just goes, oh yeah, he left.
Right.
So Omega's a loser. The Young Bucks are losers. Cody's a loser.
Yep.
Everyone involved with them are losers.
Yep.
But they're the big stars.
Yeah. It's just stupid.
It's the opposite, right?
You look at their scores and it's 0 and 4, 4, 4.
Or they're 4 and 6, or yeah.
Cody.
There's a reason why the Utah Jazz don't have as many fans as the Lakers, because the Lakers win all the time because they buy the talent, and the Jazz are always having a fight to the top. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Utah Jazz fan. I root for the team that will never win, but I'm weird.
I'm a Cubs fan. There you go.
Well, you were a loser for 100 years, more. But you eventually won.
Eventually.
Yeah. And the very next year, the Astros won. So you were a double winner.
I'm a double winner.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk?
Meanwhile, my baseball team's never even won the division. I'm the perpetual loser. I love the Elite. There we go. They match.
You're perfect.
Yeah.
You should join the Elite.
Yeah. So after the match, Evil Uno hits the stage. Young Bucks. SCU, congratulations on your amazing tag team victory. But tonight isn't a night about invitations, because any other night I would invite you to join Dark Order. But tonight is about an initiation. Get 'em, boys! Like an old James Bond villain, you know? So all while that's going on, the creepers were slowly surrounding the ring, because as we know, the Dark Order was flashing across the screen all night, at least twice, that I noticed. And so the Dark Order all hits the ring, and for every Elite member, and Daniels of SCU even comes out to try and save his friends, 2 more creepers would hit the ring. So there's I think we counted, 22 creepers in the ring?
Lot.
At one point?
Yeah.
All beating down the biggest stars of the company, because numbers create winners. That was, if we remember, that was the ploy of the Dark Order. Mm-hmm. Stop being a loser. Become a winner.
Right.
Oh, they were sure winners tonight.
Yeah.
Alex Reynolds and John Silver joined in, but they didn't have masks.
Right.
Because we saw in a previous Dark Order video, when you're initiated, you kick the shit out of somebody and then you get a mask. Gotcha. Right?
Yeah.
Because the big fat guy is like, I just want friends, and then the other guy who says, I want revenge, he joined in on the attack of the fat guy. The fat nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Silver and Reynolds get handed their own little masks. All while commentary's going, where's Paige? Where's Rhinestone Cowboy? He never showed up. I think he was a creeper. And he hasn't been initiated yet. I think the Dark Order is going to go for the tag titles. And his initiation is going to be helping them win. Right?
Yeah.
And then the initiation afterward is he rips off the mask and beats up the Young Bucks or somebody. Right? Mm-hmm. Beats up SCU.
Good thought.
I loved this whole story the night of the Dark Order, the subliminal messages,
Yeah.
and then they come out, get them, boys! Thousands of freaking dudes in black masks and
That's
everything
pretty
hitting the ring. They make
entertaining.
their big throne of dudes.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like this. They're not behind Dark Order. It's too bad for them, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm a Dark Order fan.
Yeah, we both are.
Yeah.
It's our kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the other thing people complain about, just last thought of AEW, is they don't like the gimmicks, because AEW poise themselves as very sports oriented.
Okay.
You know, with the rankings and wins, losses matter, tag titles matter, women's division is building, but we're going to concentrate on women in time.
Okay.
The problem there is a lot of them are, there's just not a lot out there, right? So they got to kind of develop and do the, anyways. But you got Orange Cassidy with his, you know, the half thumbs up, doing his shtick. Chris Statlander's an alien. The Dark Order are like video game villains, comic book villains.
Okay.
But I think that wrestling's about characters anyways, right?
Yeah, you had Macho Man Randy Savage.
Exactly. He was a madman.
You had Bret the Hitman Hart.
He was a hitman.
You know, you had Hulk Hogan, for God's sake.
He was crazy. Eat your vitamins, kids.
Well, you had
Doink the Clown. He was a weird
Undertaker. Oh yeah, Doink the Clown.
Yeah.
You had the
Jake the Snake Roberts. He had a freaking boa constrictor with him.
Yeah, Undertaker.
Yeah. And it was a serious, it was a more serious environment, but with crazy characters.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's always been that way.
It's always been that way. You've always had character building and that. So, they're not doing that in WWE.
Yeah, they are. They have they're in WWE. There's
then who's complaining?
Exactly. Okay. Here's another one. In New Japan, there's a guy called Evil. Everything's evil. He comes out looking like the Grim Reaper.
Okay. Well,
there's a guy in there's another guy.
Who's ever complaining about gimmicks is new to wrestling.
I think they just want something to complain about. You can have a sports-oriented environment and have characters. Fucking UFC is filled with that.
Oh God, yeah.
They all have crazy characters and gimmicks to them.
Wow.
You know?
They're just compulsive complainers.
I complain about get this in WWE. There's a freaking clown, evil clown, like It, like Pennywise from It, mixed in with Michael Myers. Nothing can hurt him.
Oh.
And he's in, and they have this stupid red light on him, and you can't see shit while watching the match.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
Meanwhile, we got the Dark Order here with 30 dudes.
Right.
And people are like, they're beating up the biggest guys. Well, they should. There's 30 of them.
Right. And who is that? Braun or
Grogan?
Grogan.
The 6'9" or 7 foot dude in MLW that just sat around, did nothing, just threw guys out.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's big and strong, so he doesn't count. His name's Grogan. He's like a big troll.
He's not even that.
He was literally a gift.
Yeah. Right.
Anyways, looking forward to January 1st.
Betcha.
Yeah. Oh, what are you from? Upper Midwest in Canada now?
You betcha.
Oh, you betcha. Eh? I can't wait to see the Dark Order take over. Eh?
I'll have perfect vision in 2020. Come on now.
Yeah. Do you have any more thoughts over AEW? Are you enjoying your time watching it?
I'm enjoying my time watching it. I think I'm going to watch more of the dark AEW dark. Forget the light. I'm going to the dark side.
Well, on Dark Order, watch AEW Dark. It was there the whole time.
It was there the whole time.
All right, so AEW versus MLW. Who wins?
Well, I'd have to say AEW.
All right, so the final score is 5-2 for their head-to-head matchup. This is gonna be the theme of the podcast going forward, at least with my end.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna be watching two promotions kind of button heads against each other. I'll give them scores, and I'll have a top 5 or top 3. I'll probably just have a top 3 wrestlers
Okay.
from whatever two are against each other.
Okay.
Yeah. And then who's your favorite wrestler over the MLW, Beyond, and AEW?
Well, AEW, I've really grown.
Statlander?
Well, AEW?
Any promotion that you've seen. You've been to 3 Beyond shows live.
I know.
You've seen AEW for, well, since the start. And you've seen MLW since September. So, who are your favorite? Who's your favorite this time?
My favorite, yes, I will say Statlander.
All right. So, you have officially...
and actually a female this time.
Chris Statlander. So that gives you officially, I think, 11 wrestlers in total. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. No, you can make your top 10 favorite wrestlers and just order them for the next cast.
Okay.
Because that's what you have there.
Okay.
Yes, Jordan Oliver and Injustice are on there.
Well, they were the first
Yeah.
ones that I was watching, and I enjoyed it. So, yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Mom. You'll be back for Stardom. Can't wait to hear that. And then you'll be back for 2020. Perfect Vision, right?
You betcha.
Okay. Love you, Mom.
Love you too.
Thank you, Manami Toyota. Yes, we are back with another All Japan Women's Classic from Pure Wrestler Dream and Samurai TV. This is episode 10. I have made it through 1985. Now it's on to the year of 1986. This is a huge transitional year in Joshi wrestling. Huge year. And we'll get into a little bit of that with the final match from episode 10 here. We get January 5th match, 1986 from Korakuen Hall. It's the 3WA Tag Team title match. It's the Jumping Bomb Angels, Yamazaki and Tateno, versus Bull Nakano and Condor Saito of Gokuwaku Dome. We get a quick barrage from the Angels, big pile driver and Nakano for a quick pin inside a couple minutes. Very unexpected. It's basically the opposite of what happened last time in their encounter. I believe that was episode 9, actually. Where Gokuwaku Dome ran wild on the Jumping Bomb Angels and just quickly finished them off. But no Dump Matsumoto in this match, which plays into later. Second fall comes after a Nunchaku barrage from Bull Nakano. That's her shtick right now. She's just full-on martial arts Nunchaku expert. 17, 18 years old. Bull Nakano, just huge woman. I don't like her gear. I wish she'd change up her gear a bit. It looks very generic for stature, let's call it. Finished up, Nakano gets on the top rope. She does a top rope nunchaku show, like flips him in and out of the armpits, and then she does a clothesline with him. It's quite funny to watch, actually. And that leads to a shoot pin in which she's just so much bigger they couldn't kick out. The Jumping Bomb Angels then just lose their shit. They fight back with the nunchakus. Particularly Yamazaki she gets a bottle of all things. I don't know when she got it, but she dropped the nunchucks and just gets a bottle. I thought she was going to break it over someone's head. She's hitting him in the chest, hitting him in the stomach with the bottle, cracking him over the back. This is a tough bottle. I don't know if Sapporo or Kirin makes these things, but get me one of those bottles. After basically a tornado hardcore free-for-all breaks out, Tateno and Saito meet in the ring, and then Tateno just goes up under German pin. Angels are the new champions. Whew. What a turn of events. I love the Jumping Bomb Angels, particularly Yamazaki. I quite like her. January 9th, so just 4 days later in 1986, we're at the Aichi Prefectural Gymnasium. We get the 3WA Tag Team titles on the line again. It's the new champions, the Jumping Bomb Angels, against Gokuwaku Dome of Bull Nakano, and this time Dump Matsumoto, so the A Team is here. Yes, it's the rematch. So, Dump is back, presumably from an injury. I believe that's what happened. She now has a sick, awesome blonde mixed with black-colored mohawk. Looks absolutely terrifying. In Dump Matsumoto's world, after injury, I will come back leaner, stronger, mohawk, and my new weapon will be a trash drum, of all things, with Gokatsu Dome and various other writings all over this giant trash drum. And I'm talking like a big metal trash drum. The one you'd find like in the middle of a downtown street in America with a bunch of hobos lit a fire in it, that kind of thing. It's utterly ridiculous. It's terrifying. She just hoists this massive drum over her head, kills everyone in sight, particularly the Jumping Bomb Angels, pins her with the drum on her. I love this. Easily hateable heel, too. Now, turns out they did get DQ'd for this first fall, which is confusing because the bell rang as she was pinning, and the ref seemingly counted 3 because it's a heel ref. But, needless to say, the Angels were not pinned. They got the first fall via the DQ. It is confusing, but hey. So just like last time we saw Dump in the ring with the Angels, it was a murder. It just doesn't stop. Second fall comes just as fast as the first DQ. Dump is just laughing at their attacks, just not phasing her. Just a terrifying, strong group and leader. Teams can't beat them. As soon as Dump is added to the equation, it's game over. But on this day, the Angels fight back. They avoid Bull Nakano's nunchucks because she's got 2 of them this time. Angels get them from her. They isolate Dump with a barrage of in-tandem double-team offense with the nunchakus, so they've taken him out. Never you mind the no tags or weapon shots. Quick German on Nakano this time for the win. 2 fun tag matches in a row, essentially both ending the same way. So after Gokwaku Dome murdered an episode or 2 ago the Jumping Bomb Angels, the Jumping Bomb Angels have fought back valiantly as the top babyface tag team now, and have Gokwaku Dome's number. Maybe someday we'll get Jumping Bomb Angels versus the Crush Gals for the tag titles. Someday. And that takes us into mid-February, February 15th, at the Kawasaki City Gymnasium. It is the AJW Tag Team Championship, the Kazuo Nagahiro and Yumi Ogura Tag Team. So they're the champions of AJW. Against Bull Nakano and Condor Saito. So a third Bull Nakano match. I think we see that Bull Nakano's getting a huge push at 18 years old. So now it's time for the other tag team titles. The 3WA are basically the main titles of the promotion. The red belt, if you will, is the 3WA title. The white belt is the All-Pacific title, which we, on the previous episode, saw Devil Masami won, and then won the big belt. So, double champion, I believe. In terms of a Stardom comparison, I would say, I guess the AJW titles here are the junior tag titles, if you will. And then the... and it kind of goes from there. It's kind of a New Japan Stardom comparison, actually. Which is ironic, because it shares the same name of the promotion, but the 3WA are more important, because it's the wide world of wrestling, not just confined to within the promotion itself. So if you are from somewhere outside, you can come in, be that if you will. Anyways, this team of Ogre and Nagahiro are called the Red Typhoons. They proceeded to just get murdered by Bull Nakano and her nunchucks. There was a small period of comeback over Condor Saito, but really this was the Bull Nakano show. However, till once again, the good guys get a hold of her nunchucks and run wild on her and the team. So even this team, the Red Typhoons, being very generic looking, with very generic offense, they too can run wild as long as they get the nunchucks. So maybe Bull Nakano should not bring those things to matches anymore. Now she's losing all the time. And then we get our main event, which is the Jaguar Yokota retirement match. What the All right, I need a drink for this. Jaguar Yokota's retirement match against Devil Masami. As we know, Jaguar only 24 right now, which is absolutely crazy. She retired temporarily from here and became a trainer for All Japan Women, training the likes of Manami Toyota, Takako Inoue, and Yamada, just to name a few. This was due to what I found out in research, and nice fan telling me online, a mandatory strict rule in All Japan Women that all women must retire by the age of 25, 26 years old, along with the 3 no's. No drinking, no smoking, no boys, because God forbid boys. She did come out of retirement in 1995 to wrestle for her own, basically promotion that was started. It was called JD Star. Kind of like the Tokyo Joshi Pro of today, focused more or less on looks and just to very briefly sum it up. So maybe I can find a drive or some YouTube matches of some of those matches later when I get to that point in 95. But yes, in 1986, because a lot of these big stars in All Japan Women were being forced to retire, and the pure popularity, high-end popularity of women's wrestling in Japan, this is where you started seeing a lot of STEM promotions coming. Japan Pro Wrestling, JPW, started. Not nearly as successful, because it was the stars of yesteryear, not getting enough of them within the promotion, because they were still quite a few left over. The ones that had already retired, their time had come and gone, and they were out of the scene long enough where people kind of forgot about them. That's what the research I've seen shown. But needless to say, you started stemming high-end talent, you started stemming stars, not successful promotions on top of it. You see a lot of parallels to how the scene is today. You know, if All Japan Women is the Stardom, then you have your top stemmed promotion with a few high-end stars, and it just kind of trickles down from there into all your talent recruits being few and far between and spidered out through smaller promotions. But let's concentrate on this match here, because it was a retirement match. Saw it with the Jumbo Hori, where it was, I'm going to hit my key moves, I'm going to play to the audience, have a little fun, and then have your big drawn-out ceremony. And that's kind of what you got here. What makes this one different is you can clearly see, like with Jumbo Hori, you can kind of tell, like, yeah, I get, not a huge deal. She's going to leave, but she was part of a big tag team. She was a star in her own right. With Jaguar Yokota at 24, top of the game, no sign of slowing down. She had that shoulder injury a bit at the end of 1985, where she had to, I believe, vacate the title. She had the epic hair versus hair match hair versus mask match against La Galactica, which was cool. So that's something to touch on a little bit, is the fact that we haven't seen La Galactica since then. I don't know if she retired or just simply wasn't allowed to come back because she was older. And once that feud was over, she went back to Mexico, right? And did her thing. But anyways, let's see. Yes, and of course Jaguar took a break after the JD Star to start a family, and then she still wrestles today. So, All Japan Women lost, I think, a huge draw in forcing Jaguar Yokota to retire based on this strict rule. And the fact that she just kept wrestling with barely any sign of slowing down. She's still hitting her fucking moves today against a lot of the talent. Difference is, talent's just not really going over her. But anyways. Both come to the ring as big stars. Jaguar, in particular, gets totally mauled on her way to the ring. Fans just squeezing through to the, forcing her to squeeze through the ring. Her and Masami have a brilliant few exchanges here, just showing the high level of technique and character work. These two are just way above the rest. It's just not even close. Yes, even, I don't deny the popularity of the Crush Gals or the Jumping Bomb Angels, how terrifying Dump Matsumoto is at her character and just being a hardcore badass. Bull Nakano is a high up-and-coming talent at this point, being 18 years old and just being in just like every match on this journey. But when you look at just how Jaguar Yokota carries herself in the ring, how when she's putting a move and she looks around at the audience and the camera is just right up on her, Devil Masami is very much the same way. It's just leagues above the rest. Like, there was at this point in time, it seemed, I'm just baffled that you would force someone to retire at 24. But she went on to be the trainer. So maybe if we didn't get Jaguar Yokota retiring here, we don't get the 90s boom wrestlers that we saw in All Japan Women. That's an interesting topic to think about. So you can't have both ways, but in a lot of ways, there's no reason she couldn't do both, right? I don't see why you couldn't do both. In a hindsight perspective, you can't break the rules back then kind of situation, but hey, if you could go back in time and say, get the fuck rid of this rule right now, Devil Masami and Jaguar Yokota, they're not going to retire at a young age. Come on. I say that's worth a time travel trip. So yeah, they're both brilliant in the ring. Jaguar Yokota hits her just awesome moves, pins Devil Masami, and as she goes out, she did not go out on her back, no way. And then Asuka hits the ring, in just a jumpsuit, and they exchange some just hardcore moves. They go back and forth really quick. It's like Jaguar Yokota's kind of taken aback. She's like, "What the fuck is going on?" They slap each other real hard. They get their good licks in. It was really good and cool to see. It was kind of like a small passing of a torch between Yokota and Asuka. And then we have our ceremony. I was going, damn it, I want to see more of Jaguar Yokota. So you bet your ass when I get to 1996, I'm going to be watching some JD Star YouTube videos or finding some archives. I am not done with Jaguar Yokota. I might even slip in on this All Japan Women Classic, slip in some late 70s, early 80s Jaguar Yokota matches that I wasn't able to see through this archive here. But yeah, I went down the rabbit hole of piecing together all the information stemmed from this forced retirement stick and to the All Japan owners losing money during the economic crisis in 97, which led to not being able to keep the contracts a lot of their stars, which devastated the promotion, with a lot of the STEM promotion going and forcing wrestlers into retirement. They were getting less recruits with talent, the talent's not staying as long, all the way to today where when the promotion went down and because they're so young and felt like unfulfilled in their wrestling career, they still want to wrestle and not put over younger talent for fear they might be kicked out again. That is for sure a thing. Like, how many people has Meiko Satomura put over? How many people has Maiko Ozaki and Oz Academy put over? How many people have Aja Kong put over as those next big stars? You could probably count on one hand for each of those people how many people have been put over, right? You're like, Meiko Satomura, okay, I got Sari, you got Chihiro Hashimoto, and now you're struggling, right? So it's like a puzzle that all fits, and this all stemmed from this Jaguar Yokota retirement match. So All Japan Women, looking forward to more. 1986, very much looking forward to what's going on here. And with that, on to Stardom. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. All right, thank you, Queen Dork, for taking me into the Stardom recap. As I pull up a couple shows here, which I forgot to do prior. I'm recording this podcast before the Korakuen Hall show has come up on VOD. So right now, all I have to go on is the December 14th Yokohama show and the December 15th Shinkiba show. These are the two shows that took place in between the Shinkiba December 8th show with Julia's debut against Hazuki. So the Yokohama show, we saw a rookie trios match of Team Saya. They go over. Queen's Quest Oedo Tai had a fun little match. They pretty much have their thing going on. But the singles match between Julia and Saki Kashima was actually pretty dang good. As much as I like to shit on the Yankee Saki Kashima, there was a good promo of shit talk between the two. Saki references Julia, says she smells. I see no argument. I hear no argument. Julia wants to rip off her pasty white skin, but Saki's not messing around with the newcomer. I kind of like Gatekeeper Saki, and then seeing her get stiff forearmed ice ribbon style from Julia in the match. So they have some good exchanges. Interesting note here during the match is that Julia is... I've never seen this from her before in any ice ribbon matches. So this is definitely something I think she should do more of. Okay. In this match against Saki, who's a Stardom generation wrestler, is Julia's tapping her body between exchanges, right? Of like what the next maneuver is going to be. And then they kind of get into a flow. I found that interesting. How the match went along a lot better than the Hazuki match. And all these taps that Julia was doing was a way to communicate between the styles. Found that very interesting. Julia's got she does an STF and then cravats the head, and then it turns over into a cravat bow and arrow lock. I like the idea behind the submission. I don't like how slow it is to get into it, especially without enough like head and neck work prior. Maybe this is because I've watched a lot of NWA, and how if you're going to do holds, you got to attack the body part, make your offense make sense, right? And Julia's not doing that. The more I watch a Julia match in Ice Ribbon, it flows through hard hitting and stiff styles. You know, it's a very much different style. In Stardom, it's very much of a more modern day style, right? You can still have your hard hitting. You can have your. It's much more emphasis on character work, that's for sure. And we're seeing we're seeing Julia really break out of her shell, and how much more charismatic I could ever have imagined her being. She's bringing in the Italian background she has into her, Arrivederci and Madonna, you know. She got her own catchphrase. All you people who love Julia, it's so much more charisma than I've ever seen before. So this was a good little flowing breakout match. The Hazuki, I think, should have come after. I think she should. I really do think she should have had the Saki match first, but I definitely see where the drawing power is, and the reasoning is you want Julia to come in to someone who's more higher on the totem pole, and Hazuki has a following, so it all makes sense. This was followed by Utami versus Andres Miyagi, whom she's kind of breaking out of her shell as well, doing a little bit more character work too. And Utami, her first singles match since coming back, I believe this is true. This worked out. It was definitely more of a ground game. Utami's power ground game matched up well with Miyagi here. Didn't mind this so much. I'd like to see... It's weird seeing Andres Miyagi outside of a Sendai in singles matches where she's so much bigger, and she has some nice signature moves, like her top flowing drop kick. And then she works a ground game because that's what Sendai does, right? Matched well with Utami, so, I'm not saying the match was bad. It just seems weird in a Stardom environment when you're going to be doing this ground game and then the occasional power move. These two matched up well. It led to an okay match. It didn't blow. It's not going to blow you away or anything. It's just something to kind of break down and look at in a different light. Stars TCS, decent match, trios. Singles match, Kagotsu versus Hazuki. Oh, this match was great. You can tell there was a lot of emotion involved in it. It's their last singles match together. And as we found out on Twitter, Kagetsu's retiring come 2020. And her promos, the way how she's got plans in 2020, they were all there. She had a long stint of neck strain during her red belt run. And even at the end of the match, she got put in a neck brace. I don't know if it was for comedy or selling or whatever it might be, but Kagetsu's only 27 years old. Seems like she's been around forever. And Hazuki's retiring, only 23, I think. This match broke my heart. They beat the hell out of each other. They hit all their moves. Kagetsu hits the blue mist in Hazuki's face. They just hit all their exchanges. I wanted Hazuki to finally go over on Kagetsu. The master beat the student yet again. True bummer, but hey, Kagetsu's got to build up some cred before going into the red belt match at New Year's Climax. If you're a fan of Oedo Tai and you want to see a blow off, go out with a bang match, this won't disappoint you. I really like the blue mist spot. Good stuff. Highly recommend. Then we had the main event, which was the Goddess Twin Gate titles, as we'll call it. Jungle Kiona, Konami, TCS taking on Team Riho. I don't know what they're called anymore. Riho and Starlight Kid. Starlight wants to go for a triple crown, triple champion. Very solid tag match. I think they one-upped their tag league bout that they had. Jungle Kiona. It was funny. It was Jungle Kiona wanting Konami to give her a show for the tag match. And as it turned out, it was the other way around. Jungle entertained Konami. And Riho played kind of a back role in this. It was really Starlight Kid trying to take a forefront on both Jungle and Konami. So she was definitely kind of a higher end performer in this. But good God, Jungle Kiona, tag team specialist. Keep this belt on her forever. This is her wheelhouse. Whether she loses the title, get her back with anybody in TCS. She will run this tag division, make it global. That's one of her goals. She is the one to keep this belt on forever. Make it a year-long run of her just being in this title picture for the tag titles. This is a great place for her. She works well with anybody. Her style works well for anybody. You get her some 1v1 situations. You can even have single matches building up to future tag title matches against the future opponents. It's great. Good story of Starlight Kid still always trying to get her sunset bomb. Good tag team maneuvers. A lot of good tandem knee strikes where Riho would go for a jumping knee to the face. Her version of a V trigger. I wish it looked a little bit more devastating. It just looks like she love taps the head. But in this tag team scenario, it works because what it does is it just gets the opponent down just enough where Starlight Kid will come in, drop kick the knee out, and they do another knee and another combination, which takes the opponent down. So this works for this tag team quite well. But as it proved, the team of Jungle Kiona and Konami they match up so well. The power of Kiona and the technical aspect of Konami, where Kiona will power you down and Konami will get you in a submission hold. And everything about this match just flowed well. So 0 complaints from me. I do love the powerbomb missile dropkick, kind of their version of a doomsday device situation where they hit it, but Starlight Kid was too close to the ropes. I love a too close to the ropes and they just grab it spot. None of this kick out and you're right next to the ropes. That's a big pet peeve of mine. So Starlight Kid, thumbs up to you on that one. And Starlight Kid, yet again, eats a pin. Doesn't eat a pin. She taps out to Konami's Final Lancer, and Konami's new promo cadence to her, where she's like taking pleasure in pain. It's quite nice. Pleasure and pain, watching pleasure and pain. It's a good shtick for her. I hope she keeps it up. Builds her up well going into her white belt match against Arisa. So talk about a breakout year for Konami. Goddess of title, goddess champion, and tournament MVP performer in both the Cinderella Cup and the 5-star. What a year. What a breakout year. Hope she wins the white belt at the year-end Climax show. And then the Shinkaba show on the 15th, we got Saya and Itsuki Saya, another rookie match. They're breaking out into their own. They're gonna be 2 to look out for in the future for sure. Another Oedo Tai Queen's Quest match. We got Julia against Andres Miyagi, Ice Ribbon versus Sendai, and fuck, it was a clash of styles if I've ever seen one. Julia trying to stiff shot Miyagi just wanting to ground Julia, which isn't her strength. Felt like an old, like, mid-90s WCW Clash of Styles match where you're just kind of entertained by how are they going to make this work situation. And I really liked Miyagi's character kind of breaking out a little bit, where she's kind of messing with the ref, stiffen up if someone touches her situation. She checks the ref and pulls some leg hair. You know, some good antics. I do like that. So we could be looking at... I'm expecting, from what I'm seeing here, Julia to start her own faction. And perhaps Miyagi joins up with her, being that they're the outsiders, right? So who knows? We might get an angle at New Year's Climax, or something that happens in January with the New Year's with the New Year shows. Julie goes over, not unexpectedly, got to build her up for the Hana match, in which, interestingly enough, Hana Kimura is just kind of off to the side, being like, hey, stop putting me in these tag matches, these elimination matches, which was the next match. I was entertained by that match, but the singles matches building up to the end of the year were definitely the highlight of this. Yeah, it's a clash of styles. It's exactly what you would think would happen, is they're kind of lost and not really knowing what to do, because Julia's ground game is not her strength. And then we got the ever so devastating Hazuki versus Oedo Tai gauntlet match, 1-minute matches against all of Oedo Tai. We got Hazuki and Kagetsu having a spit fest, spitting water into their fest, and they both spit water into the ref's face. There's a funny spot where Tora comes in, and they do the Dragon Gate, Genki Horiguchi, get the yellow strap, take it across the arena, and slap it in their face. We got Jamie Hayter just kicked her ass, which that was quite funny. I got a kick out of that. Natsumire, yeah, Natsumire. Anyways, getting her stick over, doing her final thing with Hazuki. And then we had all the rookies wanting one one-on-one match with Hazuki, since they'll never get it, in which Hazuki beats them all, basically. So that was funny. And then finally, Azumi comes in. Queen's Quest music hits. Azumi comes in. They do one final high-speed match, and Azumi finally pins Hazuki. And as soon as the pinfall hits, Azumi goes to the corner and just starts bawling her eyes out. She's crying, hands over the face. Oh, you just feel it for her. Her rival growing up in the promotion just you'll never have another match, but she gets over on her, and Hazuki even acknowledges it. She's like, you were supposed to do that with the high-speed title on the line. You're too late. Tora gets on the mic and says, save your tears for after the Cork and Hall match, New Year's Climax. Yeah, it's very emotional. I'm tired of these retirement matches. Fuck. Watching Jumbo Hori go out. Jaguar Yakota's gone. Hazuki's gone. Kagetsu announces her retirement, so now I gotta deal with that. This is bullshit. What's next? What's next in my world of devastating retirements? Moving on. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I got New Year's Climax. When that shit comes out, I'll slip it in here, and I'm gonna go move on to WXW. Jesus. And we're back on the podcast. I'm joined back with Mom.
Hello.
She watched her first all-women's show, Stardom of all things. How do you feel?
Not well.
What do you mean, not well? It was the year-end climax.
I got to be a heel on this one. Was not liking it. Too much yelling. The announcer of the women with the bunny ears and the whole, because I guess it's a holiday.
It's a holiday. It took place on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
It was the year-end climax show.
Yeah. Ear piercing. It just was ear piercing. And I absolutely did not like the camera angles at all. It drove me crazy.
I didn't like him much on the show at all either. It appears to be Bushiroad's first big show with Stardom since the takeover.
The angle was not good. Not good. It missed a lot of things.
It was very shaky, especially the ringside cameras.
I don't know. It took away from the event itself. The camera. Every time you turn around, something's moving. It wasn't flowing for me at all. And just hearing a lot of screaming in the audience, or the screaming of the women wrestlers, it was annoying to me. It was annoying. I mean, some of the wrestling was good. I'll grant that, but
anything stand out in particular over the course of the night, the wrestling wise, besides production getting on your nerves and everything?
Right. Well,
which is a fair complaint. That does take away from the enjoyment of the show.
It did. It really did bother me in that regard, and I think they're missing a lot of things that they could do better. During introduction, maybe I'm too Americanized to be watching that, when Japan should have more visual effects, I would think. For introduction, I think they're lacking with the excitement of the women that they're trying to bring. I just wasn't feeling it. But seeing that one of the wrestlers was retiring, and how she was not happy with the way she had to retire because of leaving Stardom. I'm not sure what her name was.
Hazuki.
Thank you. That was very moving. It was very
that was the thing you were most paying attention to the whole time.
Yeah.
Was the retirement ceremony.
It was.
It's like, oh great, I might like this girl. Glad she's leaving forever. Great.
Right.
It's fantastic.
I thought she would win her last bout, but she did not. Probably because the new owner, I guess, didn't want her to win. You're leaving, you're not winning.
Well, it's wrestling tradition that you usually go out on your back.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's okay.
Is that anywhere?
Yeah, it's usually tradition. Absolutely, anywhere. Okay. It's like an unspoken thing, but not all the time. Not all the time. There are some people that refuse.
Right.
Downright refuse.
Well, and I can relate.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I thought the first show I watched with the Irishmen, who were they? The Irishmen, like a cocktail. The Irish, the
UK,
the UK, and
the Japanese.
And the Japanese. So
Yeah.
you got sake, Irish whiskey.
Oh, I suppose.
And let's see.
What's funny is there was a girl named Saki, but she was in a match later.
Oh well.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I don't know these names.
Well, that's okay. You learn them. You're watching something for the first time.
I call them Sparkle Pants, or the black and orange haired girl. Knowing that I don't even know what her name was.
Well, you've seen Jamie Hayter on Dynamite.
Jamie Hayter. Okay.
You've seen her on
Yeah.
Dynamite before. The whole Pittsburgh, Britsburg thing.
Mm.
That's where you first saw her, most likely.
Okay. Well, and say again.
Well, let's go through the matches and
Please
the show. Speed this along.
Thank you.
So
You're really
we
putting me on the spot.
Yeah,
I hate
it's
being
fine.
put on
Well,
the spot.
I have the notes all made and everything, so we're all
as
good.
you should.
Yeah. So we got the show starting with Hana Kimura coming out and slapping the Bushi Road owner.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
good.
He introduces himself and she comes is like, "Get out! What are you doing? Getting in my ring?" Situation. She slaps him a couple times.
Right. And then he says, "That hurt."
Yeah, a little comedy involved. Our first real match was the comedy trios match with the Oedo Tai taking on Tokyo Cyber Squad. That's Jungle Kiona, Ruaka, and Death Yamasan, the Kiss Girl.
Oh yeah, I liked her.
You like Death Yamasan?
Yeah, I liked her.
Death.
Yeah.
Death.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, she totally reminded me of Kiss.
That's the point.
Yeah.
My favorite moment in the match was when what they do in Stardom is they have pre-match promos. Kind of like backstage, getting ready for the match. They might say a couple words, maybe
Right.
not. Who knows? Well, of course, the comedy trio they all have beers, Sapporo. They're all ready to party instead of the ring.
Right, getting everybody wet.
And then Jungle Kiona has her two friends with her, and she goes, "I got a plan, and you're a minor, so we gotta not get sprayed with beer." And at one point in the match, Jungle has an umbrella.
Right, I like
and she
that.
does penguin on him,
Right.
Yeah.
Does the
That was
penguin
great.
on him.
Who's calling me? What is this nonsense? Yeah, that's nobody. It's nobody important. We're podcasting.
Robocall.
Yeah. And no surprise to me, but TCS lose because Ruaka's on the team. She's the rookie of the group.
Uh-huh.
She was horrid.
Right. Yeah.
Quite awful, yeah.
Who was Kiss?
No.
No? Oh. I thought she was.
No.
No?
No. The Kiss Girl is actually like a 13-year veteran.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. This was followed by the Trios title match, the Artist of Stardom, Queen's Quest versus Stars.
Queen's Quest was the one with the masks?
Yes.
Yes.
They were the kitty girls.
The kitty cat girls.
I thought it was a great trios match, cemented by the ongoing story of Saki. That's your...
My Saki,
yeah.
Sapporo,
using her dumb pin on Momo Watanabe. We'll get to her later in the show.
These names drive me crazy.
It's fine. You should hear Dad try to pronounce some of these names. He's like, I love that mayo.
See?
You want me or
Pants.
something? Yeah, Sparkle Pants is much easier than saying she's mayo. The match went about how you would think, with the finish being super fun. A few rolling near falls, multiple revival pins attempts, rolling back and forth to give Queen's Quest and Momo fans heart attacks around the globe. You heard me, I was gasping. I said, not again!
Mm.
In the end, it was always Utami, the bigger girl of the group. She always came in to break the pin, save Momo, including a torture rack bomb, Lex Luger style, and a big German suplex that allowed Momo to hit the edge and hit the cradle half Nelson suplex to pin Saki. So hurrah!
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 Hoorah!
Did you enjoy it? It was okay.
Sure.
All right. Then we had the retirement match. Natsuko Tora beats Hazuki.
Eh.
Wah. I didn't care for the match too much. It was just fine. Hazuki did her offense in.
Yeah.
Natsuko obliged.
Yeah.
The bigger story was the very emotional ceremony, which consisted of a Oedo Tai sending her off. Tons of gifts, including Jungle Kiona slapping her, gives her flowers.
Right.
Slapped her back, and then she tosses the flowers off to the side, hitting her in the face. Thought that was funny.
Well, and then the former owner giving her last paycheck.
Well, that was my joke.
I know,
Yeah.
but it was a good one.
I'm sure it's her last.
She had taken pictures with everybody, and the guy that should have taken a picture with her just gave her the
card, and
the
left.
envelope, and left.
Yeah, the only one. So
that was just so odd. That was really uncomfortable, I think.
Well, played into her speech afterwards.
Yeah.
In which she says, more or less, I'm quoting, I hope nobody must retire and go through the same situation I had to. I truly hate Stardom, but I love Oedo Tai and the people I shared the ring with.
Yeah.
So it has a lot to do with ownership.
Yep.
And the probably the locker room dissent, kicking out Kagetsu, which we learned later that after the show that Kagetsu's retiring as well, after being kicked out as the trainer with her old school style. So lots of dissent with her. Before her speech, I was already kind of not totally believing it's a full retirement. With that speech and the words she used, I don't think it's a full retirement.
It's a retirement from Stardom.
Right. I think it's
right.
100% a retirement from Stardom.
Yes.
Like, basically, you can never come back.
Right.
You've been blacklisted from the promotion. Right. But, 6 years could go by, and I'll still be like, she's coming back any day.
Mm-hmm. Well, how long was she with Stardom?
5 years.
5 years.
And she had quit. Long time. And she had quit before.
Okay.
So
even before that, so how long was she with them before that?
Well, altogether 5 years.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was followed by the Julia versus Hanakamura match. The two, halfies. People with half-blooded of non-Japanese against each other. Went to the 15-minute draw.
Yeah.
Fight. It's a brawl. Went all over the place.
Right.
Felt like an old school 80s, 90s All Japan women's match, or just an old school match in general.
Yeah.
Hana spitting into Julia's face, kicked the match into the next gear after the brawl. They kind of furthered the brawl. Then they're like, shit, someone's got to win this match. But by then, it was kind of too late to give them enough damage kind of situation.
Right.
This was my match of the night. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, probably so. Yeah, it's too bad that there was no winner on that one.
Well, I mean, that just means they got a more of a story to tell.
Right.
Yeah, this is just the beginning.
All right.
The Wonder of Stardom title match. This is where you started trying to stay awake heavily. Arisa Hoshiki, that's the girl with the lazy eye.
Mm-hmm.
She was facing Konami. Match went 16 minutes and 24 seconds. A little bit longer than the 15-minute draw. And you even said, this is taking forever.
Yeah.
And I agree, it felt like it took forever.
Yeah, my eyes were heavy on that one.
There was something missing throughout. I never felt like I was grabbed in.
Yeah.
Konami's game plan was clearly going for her neck and locking in her triangle lancer on her arm. Well, for a girl who kicks all the time, that's kind of a bad strategy. Right?
Right.
But to be fair, you would know this, but all the previous matches Arisa's had against opponents, including Konami before, they've gone to take away the kicking plan or going for the back or something. So this is a new plan. It just didn't work out. Yeah. Despite basically controlling the entire match, all it took was 4 moves in a row, and then she got beat.
Amazing.
Yeah. It was the blackout knee, Oz cutter, terrible looking, I might add. She can't jump off the ropes very well. When she does it, she just kind of falls backwards, and the girl jumps into her. Brazilian kick, and then the bumaye, the running knee. Yeah. And even then, we both missed it. We're like, wait, what happened? because we kind of looked away for a second.
Exactly. Yeah, you had to do it twice for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even see it the first time we rewound it.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, I didn't even see it.
So this was kind of a bummer for a match that had a lot of hype going into it. Didn't do anything for me, unfortunately. You feel the same?
I feel the same. Had to swallow.
Yeah. And then we had the main event, the big match field. The red belt. Mayu Iwatani champion. The
red, black, and blue belt.
Well, it is now.
Or red and
red
blue.
And blue misted.
Yeah.
Taking on Kagetsu, who
she was a total mess by the end. They both were.
Yeah. Kagetsu.
But I like the entrance.
The entrance was cool.
I really like the one thing I did like about the matches when they introduced were the streamers that came out for every introduction for either one of the opponents. They would throw the streamers out, and for this particular one, she actually was my favorite when the streamers came out because she spun them around herself, which was fun.
It's great.
I thought that was fun. And that was Sparkle Pants.
Was Sparkle Pants. Earlier this year, she spun and there were so many streamers, she got like mummified and she fell. It was great. She was like stuck in there and they had to like take it out.
Yeah, and then they also matched the colors that the people wear.
Yeah.
So that's even more fun. And my question is, does the audience is the audience given those streamers, or do they bring the streamers in?
I can't answer that because I've never been to a show in Japan.
Yeah, but it's a good question.
However,
because you never see where the streamers actually come from. Do they come from? I know they come from the sides.
Camera side. The camera sides.
They come from 1, 2, 3 sides.
It is my understanding, I could be wrong, is before the show, the audience can buy color-coordinated streamers for the wrestlers prior.
I see.
Or you can bring them in.
I see.
Yourself.
Okay.
Like what we did.
We'll have to investigate.
Yeah. I'm sure someone can answer that much easier.
Yeah.
But the main event was really long, 22 minutes, 17 seconds.
It was long.
It didn't feel as long as the match before it. It did go on quite a little while, and that was because they brawled outside for a bit. Kagetsu, always having to do something absolutely crazy in Korakuen Hall. She climbs to the top of the bleachers, and then does a double foot stomp on like 2-3 rows down.
Yeah,
onto Mayu,
crazy.
Scaring the hell out of me. I thought she would break her kneecaps on the way down.
That was dangerous for sure.
But that played into the match for the entire rest of the time, whether it was going for Mayu's bandaged shoulder in submission holds, or, as Mayu said in her post-match speech, I think you broke a rib and my organs fell out off that double foot stomp. And that was the whole time. There was a interesting moment where she goes for a running springboard move, running towards the turnbuckle, and she loses her footing and then just splats.
Yep.
So that was before her big comeback.
Right.
I think she did it on purpose. I think she fell on purpose. I think she purposely made it look like she slipped and then just splatted.
Well, and I disagree. I think that she was trying to get up, and she got up for the first one, or the first rung, and then went for the second one and totally missed it and slipped. I think she didn't do it on purpose.
You could be right.
And she fell.
You know what I must give kudos to? If she did mess it up, not on purpose, I give kudos to the fact she didn't just try it again. Right?
Well, because
right away, because you see that all the time in where wrestlers will mess up a move.
Yeah,
and then there's like a moment of, what do we do? And then they just do it again.
Well, and you saw her fall down, and then the girl in white, what's her name?
Kagetsu,
kind of laughed at that one.
She's like, aha, you tried, but you failed.
Right.
Still my offense.
Yeah. So, I mean, she was ready for it and saw that she missed it because she was kind of bending,
Yeah.
Forward for it,
Mhm.
waiting for it. And by seeing what happened, she kind of like shrugged at it and the camera picked her smirk on and go, oh, well, missed that one.
Yeah. So the finish lasted about 5 minutes. It was the entire last 5 minutes of match where they're each just hitting their move over and over again, their big move, and they just kick out, kick out, kick out, kick out. Kagetsu hits the red mist, and then she hits the blue mist.
Right.
And then it ends with Mayu doing the dragon suplex, like catch dragon moonsault.
Yeah.
Finally wins after all that. She breaks the trophy afterwards.
Which was funny.
Momo challenges her after the match for the title for the match in January. And there you have it. That's it. So,
done deal.
I asked you before we were watching, I want 3 people that stood out to you the most. Who did you like?
I like the very first match.
Okay.
Sparkle Pants.
Well, who in the first match? Just the group?
Yeah, I liked the group.
Okay.
Well, I liked the group,
outside the
and
group.
I liked Kiss,
Okay.
the Kiss girl.
And you like Sparkle Pants.
I like Sparkle Pants.
Dad also likes Sparkle Pants.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's almost like you two were married once.
Yeah, who thunk?
Who thunk? Well, good. You like the comedy. You liked Kiss because rock and roll, and Sparkle Pants, the champion. There you go. Works for me.
Beginning, middle, and end. There you go.
Did you have a favorite match?
Probably my favorite match had to be the one that actually ended up with nobody winning.
Julia Hanakamura.
Yeah.
It's mine as well.
Yeah.
Good.
There you go.
We have similar taste.
Amazing. You would think you were my son.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, would you be down to watching another Stardom show, or we gotta wait a while? Or try a different promotion?
Who
knows?
Yeah, I'm not going to commit to another Stardom. That's too.
All right. Well, we got Wrestle Kingdom. We got a million other promotions to try out. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would be up for that. I'm just, if they had a different person and doing the announcing.
Well, there is a guy that does it for the Hazuki retirement match. A guy did it. The guy announcer did it that one time. Yeah.
Yeah, but she was always there.
For the other matches.
The high pitched girl.
Okay.
There for everything.
Iwatani Mayu!
Quite annoying!
Well, I look forward to talking to you for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yay!
Hooray.
Let's do that.
All right. God, I had to drink a lot after that Stardom trip I went on. Man. Retroactively saying, man, how about that New Year's Climax show, eh? Yeah, okay, it's not it yet. WXW 19th anniversary. Oh, man. Their best show of the year, outside of 16 Karat, of course. This was, from top to bottom, a very solid card. 4-way, at the end, from the Road 2 show, there was the big argument with Avalanche, Skillet, Andy and Mueller. Well, Beck makes it a 4-way, a solid 4-way affair, in which we saw Skillet take advantage of his friend Absolute Andy, and after Andy poured his heart out to be on his friend's side of Jay Skillet, JAA, the tag team, Skillet ends up rolling him up from behind and pulling the tights. We get a huge ass crack shot of Absolute Andy. And Skillet is the new Shotgun Champion, a young guy in the promotion going over. We even get a nice little backstage segment afterwards of Andy can't believe what has happened. He's been betrayed, and Skillet goes, well, I just did everything you taught me, and now I have the title. And he goes, oh, so it's all about the title. Just because you have a title doesn't mean you're the best. And Skillet just kind of goes, yeah, it does. Well, okay, well, at Back to the Roots, we're going to have a master versus student match. So I'm very excited for that one. Very good. A nice, simple story being told. Non-title tag team match. Apparently, Full Gastrin, Leon Van Gasteren's tag partner, what's his face, the Speedster. He got injured, so he had to find a last minute partner, and it turns out to be Walter going against the Pretty Bastard. So they did not, Full Gastrin did not get their tag title match, but what we did get was Walter showing up to a big crowd pop and beating the piss out of the Pretty Bastards. And that's what we got. So it was very simple. Walter wins. Nice little moment. And then this was the show of Fatal 4-Ways. We had a bad Fatal 4-Way match of Killer Kelly defeating Baby Allison, Little Miss Roxy, and Sky Smithson. Not much else to say there. In the second best match of the night, it is Jurn Simmons against Alexander James, in which the loser will get Singapore caned. So James literally loses his mind in the match, and the story is they're going 1v1. Jurn gets a chair, busts James open the hard way on his head, so James is a bloody mess, crimson mask, and he's just going crazy. He wants to win this match bad and at all costs, and things just get out of hand, right? And he's about to ruin Jurn Simmons. And this is when Killer Kelly comes out for seemingly no reason. We, the audience, has no clue. And commentary pulls a fucking WCW on us and goes, oh, well, Killer Kelly and Alexander James have been dating a while, and she's on the road with Jurn Simmons and James all the time, right, for the promotion. And I'm just going, what? When, who, where, how, right? I mean, I got the answer to it all, but in a sentence, no build. So as Kelly intervenes and wants to stop, James he looks at the cane, he looks at Jurn, and then he just swings wildly at Killer Kelly, and Kelly just drops to her butt in the corner, shocked face, and then she leaves in fear, right? But that wasn't before. Maybe my events are a little mixed here with my notes. James pushes Kelly into Jurn and rolls him up. So interference from the outside yet again for the third straight match between these two. So Jurn gets up on the ropes. He takes his lickings like a man, like a badass. And James is not happy about this, right? Because now his moment's been stolen. He gets on the mic. He screams like a madman. After giving Jurn a few more wicked cane shots to the back. You ruined my spotlight. You just had to be a hero. Cuts a big promo later in the shows, reiterating the same thing and accepting what happens with Jurn Simmons. So Jurn is in the back. Crowd chants his name because Jurn looked like the badass coming out of this match. And this is definitely something I want to see in 2020 is Jurn back in the title picture. Jurn meets Karsten Beck backstage, cuts a promo saying him and AJ have had 2 matches now. He's smiling, but he bet AJ isn't smiling. So the 3 matches they've had now has been ruined by outside involvement. Kelly here, the Colton stuff at the other 2, with the other shows. So now at Back to the Roots, January 2020, barbed wire steel cage match. They're going old school WXW for this one. And it's been built to warrant this match. I love it. It's slowly gotten more and more crazy. The reasoning behind everything is good, just the Killer Kelly stuff just came across as so random and out of place. And then Kelly, the cameras follow her to the back and she goes, I'm going away for 2 or 3 months. Maybe they'll get their shit figured out. I'm like, what? Okay, I guess. Anyways, Big smile on both Karsten and Jern's face. They're excited. Good God, hell yeah. Amal defeats Meiko Satomura in a very ugly looking match. The big story here is Amal just wins. She just hits her move and wins. Whatever. So Meiko Satomura just being transitional champ. She's putting more people over in Europe more than in Japan. Anyways. Karsten Beck comes out, gives her flowers, says congratulations on all your success. Congratulations on your beauty. People, when I was champion, no matter who WXW would bring in to beat me, I always beat them. So Karsten Beck's having a big heel change here, basically. He's becoming a heel commissioner. He's being bad guy Karsten Beck of the past, to reference WXW, what they used to do. And then Amal gets on the mic and sees Melanie Gray in the audience, whom she, loser leaves town match earlier this year against Toni Storm, and she's berating her, saying, you don't need a German girl, you need a French hope. Just making fun of her, talking horrible to her. Melanie Gray's, I guess, husband gets in the ring, and Amal slaps the shit out of him and leaves, and Melanie Gray's aghast. She's like, I can't get in the ring. I'm torn of decision. This is followed by Lucky Kid defeating Cassius Ohno in a bad match. Just Ohno being big, slow, fat, giving Lucky Kid forearms. They tried to replicate a match very much reminiscent of the 16 karat gold matches where Lucky Kid would get beaten down and then pull a victory out of nowhere. This match just didn't work. Ohno didn't work. Didn't like it. Moving on. They just didn't click at all. And then the Fatal 4-Way match in what's possibly the best title match of the year for WXW is this Fatal 4-Way of Bobby Guns, David Starr, Timothy Thatcher. And yes, I did say Fatal 4-Way because there was an angle of Karsten Beck on the screen. And there's a hand on his shoulder. And Karsten Beck says, I have made a lucrative deal with a high-end investor to take WXW into the new decade. And it came with some stipulations. And then Dragunov music hits just like that, as Karsten Beck would say. And he's now in the Fatal 4-Way, and it is a fun Fatal 4-Way match. You get every guy hitting their moves. You got Thatcher trying ground moves, but it's not really working. You have Bobby Guns trying to do his moves. And it just goes back and forth. It is a fun, fast-paced Fatal 4-Way match. And the end comes when David Starr looks like he's got this title won, right? And that's when, the Pretty Bastards, Norman Harris, and the other young stunner comes out. They all interfere. David Starr tries to take him out with a big, ugly crossbody that he does. And then in the end, Bobby Guns gets him and wins. New champion. Didn't think he'd win it back so soon from Thatcher. And then the entire, I'm dubbing them the Young Stunners group, all celebrate in the ring. They hold all the gold. I like this angle to finish out the year to take us into 2020. It's a clear push of all new stars. Amal winning over a big veteran. Lucky Kid, yes, he won a big match booking-wise. Bobby Guns wins. Timothy Thatcher wasn't the one that ate the pin or anything. You have the investment angle. You have Skillet going over. All young players being over. Very much like Dragon Gate in a lot of ways. So I really liked what WXW did for their last show of the year to get us ready. Everything's built up for Back to the Roots. They immediately built everything up after that too, with Avalanche and David Starr challenging the Young Stunners group to a cage match. That's Avalanche's wheelhouse to get revenge on this young group. There you go. Good job, WXW. You got me hyped going into 2020 as I play the next drop. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's see here. Where is... There it is. Dude, hell yeah, William Ospreay. We got New Japan Road to Wrestle Kingdom to talk about. It's real quick and simple. It was 3 days, December 19th to the 21st, just kind of all in one package. And I could really just talk about this in my notes, just straight. Sonata and Zack Sabre Jr. exchanged pinfalls in the build to their Rev Pro title match. But now Sonata has a face injury before Wrestle Kingdom, so I fully expect, booking-wise, just Evil, the LIJ member, to kind of take over and be the replacement in that match. I would much rather have, like, Shingo or someone take over, but anyways. Zack being just, he was cocky heel, then he gets pinned the next night, and then has a temper tantrum, and then he lost again on the third night, so really puts Sonata over there. Okada, White, Ibushi, and Naito, the dash for the 2 titles, all brawl and face off of all 3 days, culminating on night 3 of Okada standing tall, closing the show. White looked absolutely ruthless, being the Bullet Club leader. Naito had some pep in his aggression, so he looks a little bit more healthier. It's not saying much since he was very broken down. Can't say much about Ibushi, though. Which is interesting. You'd think the briefcase holder, the G1 winner, would have the most momentum going in, but really he was kind of playing a back seat to White and Naito having their big moments over. So that is definitely on purpose for Ibushi going forward. Sad to see Liger on his way out here, but he goes out nicely, showing off Black Liger on night 3, which was cool. Tanahashi pinned Shingo in a tag match on night 1, which is interesting. So perhaps that's going to lead to something in 2020, which I'd be totally for. We had Tanahashi talking shit to Jericho, saying if he pins Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom, he wants an AEW title match to open the Phantom Door, or the Forbidden Door. We are treated to a very odd promo video package of Hiromu in a laundromat, of all places. Only Hiromu could cut a great promo and video package in a laundromat and an onsen. He's going absolutely nuts, speaking in weird puns and making strange faces. He throws his gear in the washing machine like he's washing off old Hiromu and new Hiromu's gonna come out. All while the video keeps cutting to him naked in an onsen hanging out with his stuffed cats Daryl. Like really funny naked scenes of him. There's one in particular of him coming out of the tub and he's standing at attention and Daryl's in front of his junk. It's quite funny. Super fun video promo here to hype up his in-ring return, which we got all 3 nights. What we got was a really, really good tag match. It was the Birds of Prey against Hiromu and Bushi, in which on night 1, Robbie Eagles pins Hiromu Takahashi. And the story is he may not be ready because he's been injured for so long. 535 days, right? And in any other booking world, you'd be like, that doesn't make sense. Why have the challenger lose? Well, it's more of a New Japan tradition. If you're injured for a long time, you're not in as good a form as guys who've been wrestling all year. But it was the selling of Ospreay now taunting and berating Hiromu. You know, Hiromu always wants to touch the title. He wants to lick the title. And Ospreay's kind of like dangling a fish in front of the cat, right? Hey, you want it? You want it? We want it? Ah, you can't have this. Ha ha. He taunts him. He's like, goodbye, Hiromu. You bye. You come back and you eat the pin. Ah ha ha. Bye bye. He's jumping around him, showing him the title. Hiromu's shocked face. Oh, it just makes you go grrr. It's great. All 3 nights this happened. Not Hiromu eating the pin, but his team losing and Ospreay just taunting him. Great. Very excited for Wrestle Kingdom. Hope my mom likes it, as we're going to be watching that hopefully together over the weekend it is. That takes us into the final Dragon Gate show.
R-E-T.
Yeah, going a bit quick here, but Dragon Gate, final Korakuen Hall show, December 18th. It's nothing to write home about, but there was a big angle to take us into 2020. We had some solid building of youth, is how I could put this. There was a tag team match, BB Hulk and Kai, Tribe Vanguard, They defeat Keisuke Okuda and Masaki Mochizuki in 5 minutes. So, hey, there's a reason for that later. We get a 20-minute draw singles match of Benkei versus Strong Machine J. Rookie of the Year, Strong Machine J. Strong Machine J's first ever singles match in Dragon Gate. He's always been in tags and trios matches. So this was a showing of what he could do in a long-standing match, which is interesting because Benkei has been highlighted with these 20-minute bouts with super vets of Dragon Gate, and now he's the one leading the young gun in a singles match. And while it was passable, it was very obvious Strong Machine J is indeed a rookie. Things went slow in parts. Didn't know what to really do, but there was a purpose to it, and that was to make Strong Machine J go to the limit and prove that he is going to be part of this big youth movement in Dragon Gate heading through 2020 of this new decade. Kind of like what we were hoping to see in 2010 with a lot of the talent going through. You know, not just rely on Shingo and Naruki Doi and those guys. Dragon Dia and Dragon Kid, so Master Student, taking on natural vibes of Susumu Yokosuka and Yashi, in which Dragon Dia gets another huge pin over a vet, and this time in Yokosuka of all people. I was not expecting that. I am really falling in love with Dragon Dia more and more. I would like to see K-Ness still get some highlights in, but maybe he's not ready yet for that kind of spotlight. But it is Dragon Dia, Strong Machine J going forward, as far as I can tell. We got a 6-man trios match. Big R Shimizu, Takashi Yoshida, and Diamante taking on Kenichi Arai, Ryo Saito, and Ultimo Dragon. The big story here is Diamante getting a victory, and it's giving Ultimo Dragon his first pinfall loss in Dragon Gate. So the Luchador has a big win here. So Diamante being pushed in his own right. I even saw an argument that come out that compared Diamante's trios and within RED run in 2019 over, say, the runs of the luchadors in North America, particularly the WWE guys, whether that's Alberto Carrillo, Angel Garza, Andrade in particular, basically anyone who's not named Rey Mysterio. Did Diamante prove himself a lot in Japan, what he's done in Dragon Gate, kind of under the radar? Does that under the radar mean more over a whole year? Mean more than, say, Carrillo and Andrade having a good match at TLC pre-show, right? I would say so. I'd say Diamante really, this was him getting this victory over Ultimo Dragon is a good culmination of look out for this guy in 2020 situation. He could be a big push for, say, if Eita goes on a singles run, which is very possible, and then you have Shimizu and Diamante going for the Twin Gates, because in Dragon Gate, those Twin Gates are the second most important titles, period. Sometimes, at times, the most important. Then we did get a tag team match of Ishida and Sakamoto of RED taking on Doyoshi, that's Yoshino and Naruki Doi, and they beat them. Couldn't believe it. The Dragon Gate champion, Dream Gate champion, losing in a match against Sakamoto and Ishida. Ishida doing his thing, right? That's new talent going over. That's what this is. It's crazy. Then we got our main event, Doi Darts. What this is it's quite confusing to keep up with, because what it is you throw a darts at a board, and you are put with a random trios team. So if you get let's say you throw a triple 20, okay, well you're gonna be tagging with this guy, then throw the board with their name on it. Okay, you're gonna be tagging with this guy situation. So it's very random. So you got the following teams, which I'll be honest, very hard to keep up with. I was trying to keep up with Eita, more or less Eita, KZ, and Yamato. Those three main dudes, what teams they were going to be ended up on. So you have Eita, Kota Minoura, and KZ together as a team. So I was like, that's got to be the one that wins, right? Because you had two faction leaders together. You had Kyo Kagatora, and surprise tag team partner Ben K shows up. So coming off a 20-minute match earlier tonight, so Ben K's really up there. You have Gamma, Genki Horiguchi, and Yamato, so a kind of a veteran group. And you have the joke group of Don Fuji, Ichikawa, and Santa Maria. And no surprise, well, actually kind of a surprise, because the less star-powered group is Hio, Kagatora, and Gamma. They suffer the first fall to the kind of comedian team of Ichikawa. That didn't come until the 12-minute mark, so it was kind of a mess around. Everyone's kind of doing 4v4 situations here. And then 2 minutes later, Kota Minoura pins Don Fuji. And then, so you're down to your final teams, which is the RED and KZ group against the Yamato team of Gamma, Genki, Horiguchi, in which then finally Eita ends up pinning Yamato, the Twin Gate champion. And then we had the big angle in which Red Demon Mask, whom helped Eita win and beat Yamato, is revealed to be fellow Twin Gate champion BB Hulk. Yes, he has joined RED. He has betrayed his long-standing tribe vanguard ace friend Yamato. And Yamato's devastated. RED is just laughing maniacally that they've pulled one over basically Dragon Gate itself at this point, with the Brave Gate champion coming over, and now BB Hulk going over, especially coming back from his injury. So where does this leave the Twin Gate titles? BB Hulk walks out with them both. Well, as it turns out, they are straight up vacated. So you're going to have a title tournament to start off 2020, which should be interesting. What the teams are going to be, I haven't seen anything revealed on what those teams are going to be yet. Yamato then cuts a very, very dull, just I'm going through the motions promo, how he's basically saying that RED has taken over. There's the big Toryumon show of Team Ultimo Dragon. He has his group of guys with Yoshino, Dragon Kid, etc., etc. So Yamato he essentially disbands all of the factions within Dragon Gate to say, who's going to join me in the fight against Team Toryumon Ultimo Dragon? And slowly, guys, 1v1, one after another, kind of step up their game. Ben K steps up, Strong Machine J steps up. The major players that aren't involved with RED or Ultimo Dragon. So where this is going to lead in 2020, the concept is very interesting, just the way it kind of played out. I was like, man, get to the point, guys. But it was all necessary. It's like, I'm going to join. Well, if you're going to join, I'm going to join. Situation. And that's how Dragon Gate ends. It's a seismic, monumental shift. How does the factions disband, play out, and who's going to stop who in RED? So there you go. And then just to go through wrestling promotions ending the year on a high note, we have WXW Bobby Gunn's rookie faction, the Young Stunners holding gold. Dragon Gate Yamato temporarily disbands factions to battle RED and Toryumon. Stardom Bushi Road year-end climax with the retirements and where that's going to lead the promotion, and revealing that they're going to have a match at Wrestle Kingdom with the team of Hana Kimura and Julia, of all things, because they're sign of respect, taking on the double champions of Mayu and Arisa. Devastated that Konami didn't win. AEW, the Elite Losers must fight back against the Inner Circle or join Dark Order. And then Hiromu's return in New Japan and the battle for the 2 titles. Like, I think it's all great. And before I go on to the Nitro segment, I want to reveal my plans for 2020 in this podcast. I'm going to have the end segments of the entire podcast be the retro recaps. And then if I have recommended singles matches, that's going to be at the top of the podcast. And then the middle is going to be kind of a wrestling war, right? So it's going to be the weekly wrestling recap, okay? To start the show. Me, myself, is going to be the recommended matches, and then it's going to be wrestling war from there. So it's going to be WXW. I'm going to keep an eye on them. Then it's going to be Dragon Gate versus New Japan, right? Ice Ribbon versus Stardom. So that's my focus. The weekly is going to be a thing with AEW. And then whatever show my mom watches, we'll record something for there and slip it in accordingly. So it's going to be sectioned off formats accordingly, going for 2020 and Wrestling War. And the rankings are going to play out with basically, I'm still going to do it's going to be top 10 for each next year because I will be watching much less. But I'm going to have which promotion during those 2 weeks I think did it better, right? Going to be my own little wrestling war. Which impressed me more for the 2 weeks? Maybe that becomes a once a month thing. I've just mentioned between that, but that's how that's going to work out. And with that, it's time to get a big swig of my alcoholic beverage because we got to talk WCW. All right, boys and girls, please go ahead and leave me a review on the iTunes. It definitely helps us get up. And then I think the other one that's going around, anywhere you can leave a review. Stitcher, Smart Radio, what have you. But we got WCW Nitro, September 14th, 1998, the night after Fall Brawl pay-per-view. This Nitro takes place in Greenville, South Carolina, Flair country, as we hear it. Oh, Horseman country. It's the land of the Horsemen. Over and over again all night. Repeated ad nauseum. Oh my god, is Flair gonna show up? This is Horseman. Is the Horseman gonna reform? Tony and Larry Zbyszko go over the night ahead, hyping up Sting versus Goldberg for the title in the main event. Hype up DDP winning and surviving War Games at Fall Brawl last night, gaining the right, the obligation to challenge for the world title Goldberg. All right, hold up. Sting was in War Games, lost. Tonight he gets a shot at Goldberg before DDP, who won War Games. So what was the point of War Games? Is the first challenger is a guy that lost. If you're going to have a title match, it should be someone that wasn't involved in, I don't know, you could have Scott Norton. He's been on a roll. Wrath. He's been on a roll. You can do, I know you want to hype up a huge-ass main event, but there are people who have been built up, and then you can build them up throughout the night, just like you did with Meng that one night. That was awesome. I was so hyped for that match. So anyways, no way the main event ends without a DQ run-in. I don't buy it for a second. Well, let's find out together, boys. How'd the show go? Commentary really harps home this is Horseman country, referencing the rumor Flair is to be there, how popular Horsemen are, and of course the reformation of the Horseman story that's been going on all summer into the fall here. Crowd very loud in chanting, "We want Flair! We want Flair!" This is all throughout the night. And if anything boring happened at any point in the show, they just chant, "We want Flair." We quickly cut to Mike Tenay at the airport for reasons, asking a random limo at the airport if is Ric Flair in there at the limo. No answer. Then he gets snubbed by the jet pilot that's nearby. "I have no comment for you at this time." Well, there you have it. Back to you guys. This is followed by a video recap of the Cat, Ernest the Cat Miller, beating up the Anderson brothers from Thunder last week. This is random. Then Smiley intervenes, also random. I was like, wait a minute. Then there's a pull apart between the Cat and Smiley at Fall Brawl they show. Nothing of this note from Thunder was mentioned at Fall Brawl when we saw the match of Smiley versus the Cat. You idiots! At least the Cat constantly saying he's the greatest as he gets pulled away all the time makes me laugh hysterically. Oh, it's so funny. "I'm the greatest! I'm the 3-time karate world champion! I'm the greatest!" First match of the night, finally after all these vignettes and whatnot, is Alex Wright versus Van Hammer. Van Hammer we haven't seen since, spring. It's been 6 months since we've seen this guy. If you remember, he was kicked out of the flock. He had, 2 things he did. He helped Juventud win a match at Spring Stampede against various flock members and Reese. So that was we haven't seen him since then. Well, now he has emerged and he comes out looking like Dude Love, which can't be a coincidence. He's just no reason. He's Dude Love now. Cat strolls down to the ring after 2 minutes. The match goes by. He just kicks Van Hammer in the head, who's standing outside the ring. Then he gets in the ring. Nick Patrick calls for the bell. I believe this is the only time we've seen Nick Patrick for the entire night. I miss Nick Patrick and his goofy pins and him just getting his job back out of nowhere. I was like, all right, whatever. Ignored that. Wasn't a big deal. He got his job back. He tried to get his job back. It's fine. Wright just kind of wriggles his hips and leaves the ring. Cat gets on the mic saying he's the greatest over and over again. And then a bunch of policemen come down and arrest him for no reason. Because he's, I guess, black and causing a ruckus in the ring. Commentary, Zbyszko says, well, it's because he interrupted a match. You can't be doing that in WCW. Which we know is bullshit. Because this happens all the fucking time. On every show. So, cameras follow him all the way to the police car. He's just screaming, somebody call my mama. I'm the greatest. I'm the 3-time karate champ. So, at least it was funny with the Cat. It's hysterical, but it makes zero sense. Anyways, Mean Gene is in the ring to interview Bret Hart. So Bret Hart hobbles down to the ring with a horribly injured knee, suffered at the hands of Stevie Ray and Hogan inside War Games with the baton and pipe and whatnot that was brought in. Hart admits all his wrongdoings. He calls Hogan scum, so he's doing the DDP shtick to get over. He'll come back after this injury. He doesn't know how long he'll be out, but he'll make life a living hell for Hogan. He then admits he doesn't deserve the US title. He never earned it. And before he can say no more, Piper comes out and lays it into him. He says, Bret Hart, I told you so. He asks the people to forgive Bret Hart. He's turning a leaf. If he can do it, you can do it. Give him another chance. It's a total face turn. Everyone gets humanized here. We now get good guy Bret Hart. Hurrah! Even Mean Gene goes, are you gonna boo this man after pouring his heart out? I love this segment. It was great. We've seen the slow face turn of Bret Hart getting away from the NWO. And this is kind of his, I admit I've been wrong. I'm going to do what I can to make it up to you people, for you people. So, we get a full still shot recap of the Saturn Raven match from Fall Brawl. Hype up the payoff story of Saturn disbanding the flock. It was a great match. Match of the night. It just goes on forever. Oh no, I skipped. But we get Saturn versus Kendall fucking Windham of all people. Not a good match. This goes on to go on forever. It's like a 1970s slow wrestling match. Kendall Windham is trying to rip off all of Blackjack Mulligan's type moves with zero charisma. Even commentary, Zbyszko in particular, is like, yeah, he's got the black glove on, just like his dad, and he's very big, and it's bad. Death Valley Drive out of nowhere wins the match. I called this match pure NyQuil, so if you want to fall asleep, this match is for you. And then the former flock all head to the ring for no reason. It's almost like they're lost without a cause. And then conveniently Raven is up on like the middle deck, and Canyon's next to him because he's the latest member to get drawn into the flock. So I guess he hasn't been slowly de-brainwashed, if that's even a term I could use. He's like, come back to me, flock. You had your time of freedom. Come back, come back, come back. And then Saturn cuts a promo saying, no, you can do it, guys. Knowing where each member ends up is kind of sad now. But anyways, Saturn tries to motivate each member of the flock. Lodi, he's got nothing for him, which is kind of funny. It's sad, but funny. Riggs, you used to be a tag team champion. Go be a star. Kidman, go after the cruiserweight title. Be a star. Sick Boy, you have tons of talent to unlock. Horace, you're an athlete. I really laughed at that one. Poor Lodi wanted to go back, but the others kind of left, and Lodi being Lodi, he followed suit. He's torn. Match and segment died a million deaths. Crowd didn't care at all. Wrath squashes the Renegade after this match. Wrath continues to simply be on a tear. I think he's on a 2 or 3 month winning streak now. He just comes out, kills a dude, moves on, and he's slowly getting bigger and bigger opponents, from what I can tell. Not that the Renegade is anyone huge, but he was at one point a guy in like 95, 96, being built up to be somebody, but since it's not working out, here comes Wrath. Meltdown, done. Hey, hoping Wrath gets put into something meaningful sooner rather than later. Oh, this wouldn't be Nitro without a Hogan Bischoff Disciple segment. Liz is next to Bischoff. She smiles per usual, doing nothing. Lifeless mannequin. Hogan blames Warrior for his misfortune, blah, 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 the usual. Then he challenges him to a match at Halloween Havoc. Smoke envelops the ring. Hogan screams for Warrior. Smoke clears and the Disciple is now gone missing. Hogan waddles around the ring screaming, Warrior! Warrior! It's a harmless segment, but, you know, I was kind of ruined of all of the Warriors' magic tricks when it was all kind of revealed to be hokey at the War Games match. So I'm not totally hating it, but it's getting stupid. It's really getting stupid now. Especially since we've seen the Disciple like taken away and beaten up twice already before now. It's kind of getting old. It was announced that there was going to be a cruiserweight match between Hoovy and Kaz Hayashi. But due to injury all of a sudden, which is random, you'd think they'd know the injury, Kidman's now in to replace him. So commentary continues to talk up Flair coming or not coming. Kidman walks in the ring without entrance music, so it's like, okay, how are we supposed to care about this guy? But this was a battle of who could destroy their own neck first. I don't know how either guy lived through this match. I mean, it was almost like they were trying to land on their own heads on purpose. And in fact, near the finish, Hoovy does a Frankensteiner and lands straight on his fucking head, Tombstone Piledriver. He did it to himself. So that was... like, you gotta see it for yourself, how these guys just tried to... It was like a 1998 Naito Ibushi match, but instead of guys throwing each other on their heads, they're landing on their own heads. This is ridiculous. So, as this match was simply trading spots, Kidman hits a move, then he hits a shooting star press to win the title. So, at the very least, it was fun. The crowd ended up getting into it, to a point. it goes into the whole Saturn segment before, where it's go win the title, go be a star. So it makes the segment matter. Makes, in hindsight, you're like, oh, he did do that. And then Kidman wins the title, so you're just like, I should care about this guy now. Immediately, I should care about this guy. So maybe Hoovy losing the title this quick is a bit much, but it is the Cruiserweight title. It is the do all or nothing type match and title, so I can buy into this. So it's taking advantage of the storyline, the injury, winning the title. Saturn even comes out to give some approval, so the fact that the fans got into this, I count this as a win. So maybe we can get a program now with Hoovy wanting the title back and Kidman. Maybe even introduce Dean Malenko back into it, something. We cut back to catching up with Mean Gene. He sees JJ Dillon with a group of guys heading into a private locker room. Ooh. And JJ, out of the respect of Gene and their long-standing relationship, isn't going to tell him anything. He wants it to be a surprise. And then as the door's closing, Gene says, whoa, JJ, I picked up a tab or two for you at the bar. The door closes. I love Gene. I love his lines. Randomly, we get Jackie Chan plugging the movie Rush Hour in TNT. That was weird. Kind of really dates the show. Then we cut to Bischoff and Eddie Guerrero backstage for no reason. They're still doing this angle and segment that makes no fucking sense. Eddie and Bischoff are having a quarrel. Bischoff simply says, "You love your family? Well, too bad. You get to go to Japan." Okay. Schiavone says, "Looks like he's going to New Japan Pro Wrestling for a tour." And that makes it tough when you have a family. It also makes it tough when you have to come back to WCW. You've worked a different style, and you've essentially lost your place in the ranks, so you're going to have to work your way up from that absence. And then, of course, being the fucky shitting announcer that he is, Larry Stupid Zbyszko must always be right and bury everything. He says, well, going to New Japan makes you worse. And then when you come back to WCW, you won't be as great a wrestler. He actually said this. And usually I drown out his commentary because I hate it so much, but this one just really stuck out and triggered me. Like, you're partnered with these guys, you beat them all the time, and now you have your own commentators going, all those Japanese guys and Japanese wrestlers, they suck. They even make you worse. Like, Jesus Christ. But on my New Japan watch, when I get to 1998, hopefully I'll get to see Eddie Guerrero against some awesome Japanese wrestlers of the late 90s. Oh, Liger against Eddie? Gimme. Ultimo against Eddie? Gimme. I know I've seen it in Nitro like 95, 96, 97, but anyways. And then happy thoughts. I got happy thoughts here. Barbarian versus Davey Boy Smith in the ring to beat each other's ass. It wasn't as great as I was hoping, but, you know, it's the Barbarian. It's either going to kill you, it's Smith just lifting you. It's the Barbarian, not the tag team Faces of Fear, because they more or less broke up at Hog Wild. Which is an underrated match now that I think about it in hindsight. Yeah, it was a little sloppy and a little weird, but it was definitely one of the better matches, I would say, of 1998. But this was more of your classic 80s, early 90s match. Exchange some power spots. Jimmy Hart gets involved. Finishes. DBS ducks the big loaded boot spot. Gets an ugly power slam as Barbarian comes off the ropes. Pins him. Ugly finish. Match was harmless, though. Mean Gene in the ring with JJ Dillon. JJ says technically Scott Steiner did get into the ring and start to wrestle, so he didn't breach the whole you will be fired contract thing. But because the match didn't have a conclusion, it will now happen again at Halloween Havoc. Lame, dumb. That's 2 pay-per-views in a row now. You fucked the fans. You fucked me. This has been going on since fucking spring. I am done with this. I'm out. I don't care anymore. So all of a sudden, lights flicker, and it gets pretty dark with a weird maniacal laugh like the Joker for a minute. Nobody knows how to react, including Mean Gene and JJ, as they just kind of look at each other and leave the ring. Weird. Commentary barely even acknowledges it. Then immediately the Nitro girls dance and we go to the Nitro Party video. So who cares about the laugh now? How am I supposed to care about this weird light flicker laugh when you don't care about it and you just cut to dancing half-naked girls? Anyways. All commentary cares about is the obvious Ric Flair appearance of the night. Jim Neidhart to the ring, and then as he gets in the ring, smoke fills it. It's like, okay, what was the point of Neidhart coming down then? Warrior with the Disciple at his feet emerge. Neidhart just leaves awkwardly. Hogan and the NWO walk down to the ring and slowly surround it as Warrior does a promo. Warrior speaks of Hogan's tyrannical dictatorship reign and how it must end. His cowardice at War Games is unacceptable. Warrior accepts his challenge at Halloween Havoc. Crowd's not really totally too much into this. Hey, but they're building up everything for the next pay-per-view. The next night after the previous pay-per-view. What a novel concept. Smoke fills the ring right before the NWO jumps in. At least they seemed hesitant to jump in from the start because Hogan's playing his part well. He's like, no, we don't know what this guy's capable of. There's the Disciple, he might hurt him. So it's funny that the NWO is coming across as the good guys in this situation, but the Warrior, it's just him against a group. So, you know, he's Batman. That's what he's doing. The Warrior is Batman. So yeah, smoke clears, Disciple and Warrior have magically disappeared again. Then we get the most random tag team ever, which is Silver King and Norman Smiley. I know they have CMLL roots here, but it's still weird when you look at these two. So Scott Steiner comes out with Buff Bagwell, and here I'm awaiting either Buff Bagwell's the tag partner, or Scott Steiner's waiting for his tag partner. Instead, Scott Steiner just beats these two's asses in a handicap match in a matter of minutes. Double Steiner-Kleiner for the win. If all these beatdowns aren't building Scott Steiner into a title contender, I don't know what's even the point. It's ridiculous. He's looking like a monster. So, Jesus. Steiner has the shtick with Buff. The huge beatdowns. Just wish the dumb Rick Steiner thing would have ended at the previous pay-per-view. We get a recap from Thunder of Bischoff standing off with Arn Anderson seemingly for a plea to bring Ric Flair back to WCW to wrestle and to reform the Horsemen. But it's official, but only if Bischoff says it's okay, because he has the stroke. He has all the power. And then he goes, I'm a benevolent leader. We'll arm wrestle left-handed. And if you win, Arn, Flair can come back and wrestle. And it will be on Thunder this Thursday. So Flair, excuse me, but this is weird considering what we saw at Fall Brawl, right? And the build tonight. Well, Schiavone clears it up saying Flair could be making an appearance, but he's not going to wrestle because Bischoff has the power to allow it. I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. Mang to the ring. And this is where Nitro just blew my mind. Okay, because I was like, I wasn't really feeling it. You know, it was kind of okay. But then Mang comes to the ring. Haven't seen him since his Nitro tear to face Goldberg. He's here to face Giant for some reason. Okay. This turned out to be the match I never knew I wanted. This was awesome. Instantly one of my most favorite matches from 1998. So I highly recommend this. This is the best. You all must go watch Nitro from September 14th, 1998, and go to this match right now. It's like 3 minutes out of your way, and it's the best thing you'll ever see on that day. Guarantee it. So they immediately brawl, big chops to each other's chests. Mang tries to work a bit of the knee by kicking it. Big clubbing forearms to each other's backs. Big punches to the face. They're just neither man's backing down. They're just matching each other one by one. There's no wrestling moves to speak of. It's just punch, punch, It's utterly great. I love every second of it. And it only elevates in how awesome it goes from here. So neither man backs down. Neither is fazed by the blows. And then out of nowhere, Mang throws a huge sidekick that reaches the sky and hits the Giant. But Giant doesn't falter. He pulls the straps down now, because now it's business. Giant forces Mang into a corner for two huge overhead chops. Whack! Whack! Mang doesn't falter. He pushes the Giant off him. He screams like the wild barbarian he is. Crowd is just going nuts. They're all on their feet. They're screaming. They're like, oh my God, what are we witnessing? I have a huge smile on my face. Giant goes for the headbutts. A foolish move from the Giant, because as we all know, Samoans have the hardest head among humans. Meng just throws his head back and screams. It's crowd continues to go nuts. Meng throws his hair back, screams at the larger foe in front of him. Giant headbutts him again. He punches him again. Meng screams back, big boot in the face. He gets the karate stance going. He's going for the Tongan death grip. Giant falters a bit more off this boot, catches his balance on the ropes. This is the perfect time for the Tongan death grip, says Schiavone. He's ready. Commentary's going nuts. He's going for it. He reaches for the death grip, and Giant reaches for the choke. But no! A moment of pause happens. Meng looks down. Giant looks in his eyes. Commentary goes, no! His arm's too long! The Giant's arms are longer. No, Meng, I say! You're smaller than this large man. You should have gotten him down first. Giant hoists the large barbarian up, slams into the ground for the count of 3. What an epic battle of giants and monsters. I love this. Need a drink? I've gone a little lightheaded in this. Oh my God. I'm sweating. What a match. Now I need Giant Barbarian. I need this. Give me the Faces of Fear against the Big Giant. Next week on Nitro. I demand it. If I don't get this, then you know what? I take it back. Build up to the Barbarian Giant. I want next week Scott Norton versus Meng, in which then Scott Norton comes, he beats Meng, cements #1 contendership, and then you get the Barbarian Giant, and then you get Scott Norton Giant. I've planned it out. Book it immediately. Alright, I gotta finish this WCW review. This is followed by a really bad segment, unfortunately, even though it's kind of funny and it's weird. I don't know, it makes you uncomfortable at the same time. Vincent with a brown bag and drunk with a cup Scott Hall faces off against Lex Luger. I can only imagine how this is going to go, because we just saw Fall Brawl, drunk Scott Hall. He gets in the ring, he loses the tag title, he gets in. Commentary is not condoning the actions of Scott Hall. Basically, it's a 5-minute rigmarole of Scott Hall not locking up, then killing time for a drink. Crowd hates all this. They slowly go from boos to utter silence, with occasionally chanting, "We want Flair." Bischoff awkwardly walks down to the ring. He's talking to Hall. Then Nash and Conan walk down to the ring because they used to be friends. You hear Scott Hall going, "Where were you when life was bad? Where were you when I was hitting rock bottom?" It's not good. Hall doesn't want the help. He takes some more drink of his beverage. Crowd's now totally revolted, chanting Flair. And then Scott Hall pukes into the camera and on Bischoff. You have one fan laughing almost comically, maniacally. But this sucked. Fuck this segment. I didn't like it at all. It's stupid. Back from commercial and clearly hoping to get the crowd back. J.J. Dillon's in the ring, calls Arn Anderson to the ring, both in slick suits. Arn says, "When 15,000 people blow the roof off a place, that's what a pop smells like. Take a bow." Tonight is a new beginning for the Four Horsemen. 18 months ago, I laid down on that operating table, and the wrestler was done. I thought I could not be a horseman if I could not be a wrestler. Then Benoit approached me. He was the first one. All the horsemen, come on down. Mongo comes out, then Benoit, and then last Malenko, all in their own version dapper suits, one by one of their music. Now, keep in mind, in 1996 and 1997, there was the oh-so-long story of the awkwardly dysfunctional and friction of the Horsemen till the group breaking up. So hasn't even been barely a year, and they're already reforming them because the absence of Flair, mostly. So, to me, awkwardly, but obviously a vastly superior promo took place here with Arn Anderson talking up each person of each horseman, right? Much like Saturn did with the Flock, but clearly because this is Arn Anderson we're talking about, it's a better promo. But anyways, you've been asking for the horsemen back, Arn further states. Through the year 2000, we will be the horsemen. And we aren't nice guys. Heads are gonna roll. Oh, if he only knew how very quickly what was to come. Be careful what you wish for, he says, 'cause now you have it. And oh, what a goof I am. Sometimes I get accused of getting racked in the head a few times and have a case of the Alzheimer's. I almost forgot the fourth horseman, Ric Flair, come on down. Boom, music, the crowd explodes. Now, say what you will about the uses of certain words in the promo. The point is, it meant nothing in 1998. With tears in his eyes and the crowd just going absolutely nuts. Probably one of the biggest pops of 98. Flair goes to the ring. We haven't seen Flair for reasons unknown to the audience since March 3rd of 98. We know it was due to, in hindsight, lawsuit and contract dispute, of course, with WCW and Ric Flair. Flair proudly talks up to the fans, calls Bischoff an asshole, as Bischoff is on the ramp just being flabbergasted after Flair's crazy promo. You're an asshole, overbearing abuse of power, you suck, cut me off. Liar, you're a cheat, you're a scam artist, no good son of a bitch. Fire me, I'm already fired. Fire me, I'm already fired. Flair is just absolutely crazy, he's out of his mind, as only Flair does. Crowd ate it up alive. Tenay has goosebumps, Heenan's speechless, and Schiavone wipes a tear from his eye. He's so glad he's there for this tonight. So it was a great segment of stars, and Flair is back. Hell yeah, I've been missing Flair. Then they recap DDP's War Games win from Fall Brawl to earn a title shot versus Goldberg. For some reason, this is in the commentary booth where the crowd can't hear a thing. I hardly call this a segment. It was nothing. If anything, it downplayed DDP's big win. And then he just stays on commentary for the main event. Michael Buffer for the intros for the main event. Goldberg versus Red and Black Sting. So this match is basically Goldberg is too powerful and can't be put down. It's a fun Goldberg match, actually. The selling of Sting and playing off Goldberg, not being able to be put down. Sting's offense is quickly shaken off. Sting is like, he gets out of the ring, he's collecting himself, he's holding his hair behind his back, he's like thinking things through. It's good. It's seeing him visibly frustrated and wondering how to get the champion down. And eventually Sting sort of does. He performs a couple Stinger splashes, and before going for a third, he avoids the big Goldberg spear as Goldberg hits the corner. Sting moves, puts him in a Scorpion Deathlock, and Goldberg powers out of it, but Sting holds on into now of a standard Deathlock. I really loved what we got out of this match, and then WCW being WCW, Hogan just wanders down to the ring for no fucking reason. He's got the fucking Warrior to worry about. Why is he worrying about the world title right now? He wanders down, and let me draw a picture for you. So they're kind of at the side. Goldberg could, I think, reach his left arm out to the rope, which is ramp side, right? Sting's back is turned to the stairs, which, if you're hard cam looking at it, back left corner, right? The ref is on his stomach, looking at Goldberg, making sure he'll catch the tap or grabbing the ropes. So he's on his stomach, legs towards that back left, feet towards the back left turnbuckle. Hogan gets in the ring, boots over the ref, Sting's to the back of Sting's head, and then gets out of the ring same side. There is no fucking way the ref didn't see this and Goldberg didn't see this. Zero chance, right? So I'm just going, ugh. Of all the things I liked on Nitro, even this match to that point, the air was sucked out of me. So, Goldberg gets on his feet, he spears Sting immediately, jackhammer, pins him, and then Hogan hits the ring and starts beating up Goldberg. A saving grace, I suppose, is Bret Hart run limps down to the ring, chases off Hogan, so Hogan, being a scaredy heel, is still scared of limped Bret Hart. And then Goldberg gets quickly, more or less, back to his feet. He stands tall. A shit finish. So keep in mind, now we have Goldberg, Sting, and Bret Hart as your big baby faces that aren't in factions. Well, okay, Sting's in Wolfpack, but it seems we got Nash gonna be worrying about Scott Hall here. So, in order, we got basically Mang vs. Giant, drunk Scott Hall puking, Ric Flair returns to call Bischoff an asshole, and then finally Sting versus Goldberg the night after War Games, so please ignore the logic, with the shit finish included. WCW 1998 in a nutshell, right here. Take the good with the real bad with the illogically awesome, right? And that was Nitro. I have no idea what's in store for Halloween Havoc. DDP just kind of awkwardly left commentary. He's just like, oh, bullshit. It's like, yeah, my thoughts exactly. And so we got Goldberg DDP at Havoc. We have this Bret Hart NWO angle with Piper somehow involved. So I don't know where the US title's heading. Tag titles are, forget about it, right? Hall's drunk. And then we have Hogan Warrior. So there you go. There's our angles going forward into Nitro next week. We'll see where it goes. And this was the final podcast of 2019. I hope everyone enjoyed. The next podcast will be the Wrestlers of the Year. And then we're going into All Japan Women 1986, episode 11. We got New Japan starting out there with their thing. And more WCW Nitro. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Let me just go over the wrestler rankings and make my time stamp right here. And as always, before we finish the cast, it is the wrestling rankings, the final one of 2019. Just going through the men before I get to the women. The men was much more difficult due to a low workload overall. We got 15 of Orange Cassidy coming in, followed by the Best Friends, Strong Machine J for his 20-minute draw. 12 is Jungle Boy, lasting with Le Champion. Ben K pulling double duty to finish out the year Dragon Gate, becoming the one of the big surprises of 2019. Chris Jericho, SCU, Eita, so we're going more angle-focused and just performance-wise. David Starr, Pac, Timothy Thatcher, Bobby Guns coming in at 4. And then we go, I think, without question, with how everything panned out. 3 is Dark Order, because they're huge angle, and how the story played into it. So we're going a lot with faction leaders and angles, finishing out the year for the men's side. But I think 2-1 is, without question, the best match of the past 2 weeks. And that's Car Noir at 2 and Dragunov at 1, with all the character work. 2 out of 3 falls match in progress. But David Starr, Pac, Timothy Thatcher, they were kind of the glue of a lot of things that came together, whether it was on AEW Dark, whatever I watched. They were the minimum among men. Then on the women's side, we got Konami with the match against Arisa for the white belts. 9-8 is Baszler Ripley for what they performed in NXT. I did go out of my way to watch that match. It was definitely a Shayna Baszler match, but the big match feel cannot be denied, and the reception of Rhea Ripley. She is a star in the making. 7 is Mayu Iwatani. She pulled her inner Naito in that match, hitting the ropes and then doing the little flip and then giving Kagetsu the middle finger. It definitely seemed out of her character, but maybe she's breaking out a little bit more with some nudging from the Bushiroad side. Meiko Satomura at 6, being what she was doing in Europe, getting good matches out of Jinny and Amal, of all people. 5, Kagetsu just being super, just doing what she's doing. I believe Mayu would have been much higher on the list if she would have sold her rib injuries. Chris Statlander at 4. I just don't think that comes of any surprise with her wins on Dynamite, the strong showing behind her, and the just banger of a match I saw live at Beyond Wrestling. She's been really the big breakout star of 2019. 3, Hazuki. I mean, she's been on the big retirement tour. Huge match against Kagetsu. The big ceremony. Really goes without question. She comes in at 3. And then 2-1, Julia Hanakamura. In my opinion, that 15-minute draw was the match of the year-end Climax. That was the match of the night. Had everything you want, and you only came out wanting more. It's going to be a slow burn, bigger story. They are the two people that Stardom seems to be wanting to push forward, and that match, I believe, delivered in every way, and you want to come back. So, if you've been keeping track all year, maybe you can put together the final rankings before we go into the Match of the Year podcast, where we go over all the wrestling rankings, various categories of what I believe to be Match of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Wrestler of the Year, all that kind of cast. Instead of Match of the Year, I might just call it Wrestler of the Year. Regardless, that will be the first episode I will put out in 2020, and that will be followed by the new format episode of Wrestling Wars, and my mom coming on to talk about more AEW and her new promotion each month that she'll discover. And I guess we'll be on a journey to see what else she likes. Her first task is New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, both nights, and let's see if I get her to watch New Year's Dash on top of it. But this was the end of the Red Leaf Retrocast in 2019. Join me again for 2020. This was WrestleCast episode 47, year-end climax, please. I'll see you next time.